Before I get to the he was just joking story, the downtown aquarium in Denver has a new resident. And it's a very rare orange lobster. I kind of thought that a lot of lobsters were pretty much between orange and red. When you see a lobster, does it always look red to you, or do you ever see orange in it?
I guess I just think of the restaurant Red Lobster.
Yeah, I think red.
Okay. I'm talking about when you look at it.
Yeah. I guess I've never thought it was anything but red.
Maybe I don't know what a lobster looks like. I thought there was some orange in that shell. Anyway, well, apparently not, because this is a very rare one because it is orange. It was rescued from a shipment of lobsters delivered to a Red Lobster in Pueblo, Colorado.
Well, maybe is the lobster mainly brown with like orange highlights, and this one's like completely orange? Is that the deal?
Yeah, before they're cooked and after they're cooked, they're different. I think you're on to something, George.
Yeah,
like that's before it's cooked.
Yeah, there's a lot of brown in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But aren't you seeing some orange in that?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this is after it's cooked, where it's mostly red. But I could see a little orange tint in there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's not too far off from orange to me. Aren't there some oranges that lean into the
Yep.
red area?
Yeah, like especially the tail there, it looks oranger than everything else.
So this long-term employee of the Red Lobster, who is a dishwasher and head biscuit maker.
Not a bad gig.
Did you know that that's a job title at Red Lobster? Dishwasher and head biscuit maker.
Biscuits
it
are
seems like we're
important.
mashing up two different jobs into one there to me. I mean, it's like up here, if we were talk show hosts and electricians. It just seems weird.
Yeah.
But he spotted this lobster while unpacking a shipment. Oh, apparently he unpacks the shipments too. Why is the biscuit maker unpacking the lobsters? But he sees this thing, knows it's special, so he alerts the restaurant managers. They named it Crush.
Orange
Orange Crush.
Like Orange Crush from the Broncos defense in the late 70s, mid 80s to the mid 80s. So he names it Crush. They called the Pueblo Zoo to see if they wanted to take Crush, since it was so special it shouldn't be killed and eaten. Mm-hmm. They said, "No, we can't take it."
That's not.
So they called the downtown aquarium. They said, "Absolutely." So Crush was packed on ice and delivered to the aquarium. And they put a Broncos helmet on top of his tank. And they put an upturned one inside his tank so that he could play in the Broncos helmet.
But pretty cool that happened in Colorado.
What's that? Yeah.
Cool that it happened in Colorado.
Yeah, being orange. And they got it from Tennessee.
A trade?
No, the lobster. Is that weird?
Yeah.
Not Maine lobster, Tennessee lobster.
Oh, a trade is in.
It was shipped to the Pueblo restaurant from a supplier in Tennessee, but it was caught off the coast of Canada. But it had to travel to Tennessee first? How long can a lobster live being transported around like that?
Long time.
Is it hard to keep lobsters alive?
I don't know.
Apparently not. They put them in tanks in Texas and Chicago when you go to the grocery store.
Yeah, they're incredibly adaptable, I guess. They get used to their new environments. I want to say that lobster's one of the creatures that we're not sure that they die naturally. We're not sure that they're not immortal. You ever heard that?
No.
That lobsters can live hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
Wow.
And we think that they could possibly live for forever.
They don't get caught.
The oldest living animal on Earth.
Those turtles were tortoises.
It's got to be the tortoises, right?
Bunky.
Don't
Those
they make it
Galapagos or Aldabra tortoises? Yeah, they can make it to a couple hundred years. As a matter of fact, Charles Darwin and the crocodile hunter both owned the same tortoise.
Yeah, I remember something about that.
I think it was Harriet, the tortoise, who passed away just a few years ago. She was owned by Charles Darwin and Steve Irwin. That's crazy. And yeah, when you see the pictures of, I think there's one named Jonathan who's some old tortoise, and there's pictures of people with Jonathan, from not too long ago. And then you look at the first known picture of him, and it's some person standing next to him like 1860 or
caveman.
Yeah.
The oldest known tortoise, one lived in captivity in India for 250 years.
Holy mackerel.
Man. Died in 2006.
And you're saying lobsters can live 250 years?
I'm telling you, there's something about lobsters and immortality, and I just can't remember what it is.
All right.
So the only thing I found is that on average, male European lobsters lived to 31 years, females 54. There have been a few exceptions. One long-lived female was found to be 72 years old. But then it says lobsters certainly do not live forever.
All right, maybe I was completely off on that. I don't know why that stuck in my brain. But it says here that the downtown aquarium in Pueblo, Colorado, has more than 700 species of fish, along with a stingray and 3 Sumatran tigers.
Wow.
Pardon me? Tigers?
When was the last time you went to an aquarium to see tigers?
Never.
Huh. Something strange about that.
What's the lobster and SpongeBob? Was that Larry?
He's
real jacked and everything's always lifting weights.
Oh, apparently that's right. What's the stat on tigers? Aren't there more tigers in captivity in Texas than in the wild in India?
Yeah. Or in
the wild
Texas
in the
and
world?
Oklahoma? Or was it, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because of Joe Exotic. All right. I was just joking story. This dude is suing the San Francisco's DA office after he lost his job. Joe Van Thomas. That's not our guy, is it?
I don't think so. Whatever happened to our Joe Van?
I don't know. Last time he was spotted, it was on a flight. You spotted him. Or did I spot him on a flight? One of us encountered him on a flight, and he was in first class.
That's
and
right.
We weren't. Of course. But this guy, 56 years of age, he filed this lawsuit 6 months after he was fired. So this is what happened. The staff was sent an invite, calendar invite, those things.
Oh, yeah.
And he replies back to it, to the whole staff, wondering what color the district attorney's panties were, because she is a female of her own choosing, Brooke Jenkins, and then immediately notices it, and then has those few seconds of absolute panic that flood him, and then he immediately sends a message saying, that was, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I made a comment earlier tonight.
He said, it says here, he frantically told fellow employees that he accidentally messaged, good afternoon, everyone. While texting back and forth with my fraternity brother, I sent a very inappropriate email. The email was meant as a joke, and I sincerely apologize to everyone. Please know that this is not who I am as a person, as I carry myself with respect and dignity. The hastily penned apology went on. Please know that I'm sincerely sorry. Wouldn't do it on purpose. So on.
Hastily penned.
They
Could have
immediately
happened that
fired.
way. Oh, really?
Yeah. What, you're defending this?
It does happen. Sometimes you send the wrong text, and sometimes you send it to the wrong person. Think if some of our texts to each other had gone to the wrong person.
Right. This was a reply all to the entire staff after they were sent a calendar invite for an event memorializing the 1998 torturing and killing of a gay college student. And his response to that invite was, What color panties you wearing?
See, that means it had to have been a mistake. Who would do that?
Well, I think everyone knows it was a mistake, but it's out in the open that this is his boss, and he's wondering what color panties she's got on. So his lawyer in arguing the lawsuit said, hoping to cheer up his friend, who was distraught and grieving the death of his father, Thomas intended to text his friend a jokey question of the sort that the plaintiff had sent his friend on occasion in the past. Thomas's text to his friend was a whimsical question that was part of the plaintiff's standard jocular repertoire.
I see how it can happen.
I love it when lawyers try to do dress-up speak.
It is dress-up speak, but I think it's very plausible.
In the context of their long-standing friendship, the plaintiff's flip question had no sexual or off-color, obscene, or misogynistic or sexist meaning of intent. It's
you have
non-sequitur.
to explain it like that to make it sound good.
Yeah, but it's
you can't
dress-up
just say
language. Just say
he sent the wrong text to the wrong person.
Why? That's what you said. That's
I know,
people
but
understand
you gotta make it
that.
more formal than that.
People understand that. Why do you got to throw in a bunch of 50-cent words in there and all this?
It makes it sound more
jocular
official.
non sequitur, part of a repertoire of somewhat of a trading of comedic
Okay, they didn't put an accent on it.
exchanges.
My favorite word he used was whimsical.
Whimsical. A whimsical interrogative that. What color panties you got on? Not funny
not
then.
funny.
No.
And not funny now.
No.
But now he's suing, saying it's wrongful termination.
Okay. He's turning it back on him.
Good for him.
Can you get fired for panty questions at your job?
Sure you can.
Or does
Sure
he make
you
the
can,
argument,
but-
hey, I do my job really well. I send a few panty emails every once in a while, but that's okay. That's how the sausage is made around here.
Everyone's afraid to defend somebody like this, but I am not.
Okay, well, then I'm backing away from
Courage.
the
Me
here.
too.
We all make mistakes.
At
Would you
George
like me to
Dunham
go
on
through
Twitter.
our text chain and just bring out one of yours? If that would have gone to Dan Bennett, how would that have gone over?
Well, not well. When I asked what color Dan Bennett's panties were.
Not funny then.
That's not
never
funny now.
have done that.
I
So,
don't know why I was laughing.
okay. Just be careful with your panty emails, people.
Yes. All right, Gordo, thank you.
It is Thursday, so it's Twitch P1 Hangout is back after summer vacation.
It is back.
It is back in a new setting, 7:35 tonight. Twitch.tv/actual Gordon Keith. Hang
Why
out with me.
7:35?
Because 7:30 made me a little claustrophobic, and I wanted a little bit of extra time to get ready.
And then when Maverick games used to start 7:35.
Yeah, why do they do that? Did they feel claustrophobic and didn't want to be held to 7:30?
5-minute pregame? I don't know.
Used to
there-
always be a first pitch time.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds like a
7:35,
first pitch. Rangers are either 7:05 or 7:35. Mavericks usually start at 7:40,
Yeah.
7:41, but it's always listed at 7:30.
Right.
But they'll start at 7:40. But the Rangers' first pitch will always be 05 or 35.
You think
Are-
Gordo's really going to start at 7:35
Are my Texas Rangers playing tonight?
this
am I-
afternoon?
Okay, good.
1:35 is the start today.
As long as I'm not going up against them because, you know, I'm a huge Ranger fan.
Yeah.
Now. Bruce Bochy still manager?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. See there?
They have not fired Bruce Bochy.
I know a lot about him. I know that they have Jonah Heim and Michael Young and
No.
He's around the organization.
Josh Hamilton, all the guys.
He was 6'9".
People are telling us to check out the Greenland shark, that they live like 500 years.
Wow.
We're debating what's the oldest living
All right.
animal on Earth. The giant tortoises, they live a long time. I thought there for a moment this morning that lobsters lived forever.
You told us they were immortal.
And I did declare that lobsters were immortal, and I was wrong, and I will leave you alone now. But also the Greenland sharks live a long time. So a lot of people told me that. One P1 said, I witnessed 3 lobsters live in my fridge for 4 days wrapped in paper with no water. Well, that's... Shouldn't you do something to kill them first? You don't want them living in there struggling, right?
Well, they keep them alive at the restaurant, and then they only pull them out and then put them right into the boiling pot when you order them. So maybe there's something about they need to be alive as long as possible to taste the best.
Why do we as humans want to witness the cruelty we
It's
visit
awful.
on other animals?
I hate it.
When you're waiting in the lobby of a seafood restaurant and you get to walk past the tank of things that we're preparing to kill for you.
Choose your lobster.
I thought about that as a kid. It would bother me because I'm looking at death row for these lobsters.
Yeah, and they have the equivalent of their hands tied behind their back because they got the lobsters all banded up, the pinchers.
Yes.
Think they all try to suck it in to make themselves look less appetizing? See humans looking in?
Right. Or they fake a cough, make it look like they're sickly. Yeah. Okay, big news. Southwest Airlines is getting rid of the open seating model. This has been their signature outside of go-go boots back in the day. Wrong then.
Still right. I mean, wrong.
Wrong.
Go-go boots were a good look. I know no human is allowed to say that, and we acknowledge that. But if they were allowed to say it, it would be true.
Can I say, thank God they are finally doing this?
See, I always kind of liked it.
But their fares are going to go up, right?
That's okay.
Probably. When you choose the seat that you want. Mm-hmm. Your job is to simply look at the options and then choose the option that is best for you.
The cattle call boarding process was great for a while, but it's run its course, and now it's just more chaotic, and it's nervous, and it's just so much nicer going to an airport knowing you have a specific seat on a plane.
Yeah, it is.
But they've been doing it for 50 years, and it's what makes them unique.
But our flights are more crowded now. I think that's the other thing that makes it worse.
Yeah.
Well, they conducted research into this, and they did 8 million simulation-based boarding trials, and they found, it's better if we just go to the assigned seating or the choose-your-own-seat model.
Are they going to put in a first class?
It doesn't say. Bob Jordan, who's the CEO of Southwest, said in the press release, moving to assigned seating and offering premium legroom options will be a transformational change that cuts across almost all aspects of the company. Although our unique open seating model has been part of Southwest Airlines since our inception, our thoughtful and extensive research makes it clear that this is the right choice at the right time for our customers, our people, and our shareholders.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
When are they going to do this?
Today.
Is it immediate? Takes effect immediately?
Next hour. I don't know.
No, it did not say in the news story.
I mean, that's a big change. You have to change your entire reservation process, all your software. I'm getting a little out of my depth here, but you have to change your computers.
Technology.
God, you sound like an idiot.
What do you think? First of the year? Could you do
maybe.
it by then?
Maybe.
How hard is it? They've already developed the software.
But people have reservations. People.
Yeah, you have to, I guess, go beyond whatever your current longest reservation is. Longest out.
Like right now, could I make a reservation for a flight 5 years from now?
No. Southwest does have it where you can't. It's not even a year in advance. I don't think you can book
6 months.
6 months, maybe.
So it must be in 6 months' time.
It'll be,
or they just
sometime
assign
next
you a
year, I
seat
hope.
now for that flight 4 months from now.
I'm
Flight
so happy
61.
they're doing this because then you're not the awkward as you line up and you've got A25.
I
And
love that.
You
It gives
see,
you a chance to meet new people.
you see the person in front of you has a 28, and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, should I say something? I should actually be in front of him.
See something, say something.
Or Gordo crashes in with a C.
Yeah,
Oh, I misunderstood.
Radio superstar come through.
that's what he always tells people.
Hey, it was the great P1s at Southwest that performed the greatest act that's ever been visited upon me that's not sexual. And that was when we were all taking a flight, and they called me up before everyone boarded and allowed me to board first while you guys were watching while waiting in the cattle chutes. It was so great. The look on y'all's face. Would Mr. Gordon Keith please arrive at the gate agent's desk?
Hey, we'll see it Sunday. He'll be Group 5, but he'll be up there. All first-class passengers and priority passengers, and there's Gordo up there.
I always respect it. If they mention it to me, they say, hey, you're not in this group. I go, oh, okay. It's fine.
But you
Well,
just
you
force
know.
you force that awkward interaction. You force the gate agent
I'm
to have to say
exaggerating.
something, and half of
I'm
them won't do
exaggerating.
it.
I go when my group is called.
Oh my God! You have never gone when your group is called.
Sir, I'm neurodivergent.
That is the
So
exact opposite
that's,
of what you do.
It's very tough for me to understand boarding groups and all these things that you normies seem to grasp intuitively. I have a hard time with it. So,
Well, from this reporter to all of our P1s at Southwest Airlines, double thumbs up on this move.
Good
Okay.
decision, Coach.
I'm ambivalent. I like the old way. I'm sure I'll enjoy your new way. Because I can't quite understand all the ways in which you move about
Yeah,
the
boarding
world.
makes no sense to you anyway.
After the CrowdStrike software glitch, there's one airline that's still struggling. Most of the other airlines have got it all squared away again, but Delta is still recovering from this, and they're still having travel cancellations and those delays. It's having what they're calling nipple effects.
I think it's a ripple.
You are correct. I have read that wrong, and I will leave you alone.
Jugs.
There was one woman in a story that said that she was trying to get to Nigeria, and they flew her to Paris and then back to Atlanta.
Wow.
We're going to connect you through Paris and Atlanta.
I don't even understand how that happens. And now there's a federal investigation trying to find out why the other airlines are back to normal, but Delta's still canceling flights. A Texas woman did a very, very sorry thing and has gotten 15 years in prison for it. She stole $109 million
Whoa.
from programs designed to benefit our military's children.
Sheesh.
She pleaded guilty to charges of stealing $109 million from a youth development program for the children of military families and using it to fund an extravagant lifestyle. She bought multiple mansions.
Multiple.
Multiple, yes. And she bought, let me get this stat correct here, I think it is 82 cars.
Oh my God.
Yeah. A Maserati, a Mercedes, a 1954 Corvette, a Ferrari motorcycle. When they executed the search warrant on this and back in 2023, they found a lot of the vehicles had dead batteries because she just never used them. She'd buy them and then never drive them.
God, sorry. How about just a lifetime of service to the country? That she
Force
just-
her into military service?
Doesn't have to be military, but she
Why are you trying to
works-
force women to do things?
Well, because she stole $109 million from military families. She ought to serve our country for the rest of her life.
She also bought $923,000 worth of jewelry on a single day.
Wow. She's kind of amazing.
That's
Yeah.
probably not a female record, but that's still a lot of money.
Dude. Why do you trade in humor that was out in the 60s?
Just trotting down court after knocking down another three.
So in your mind, You just sank one from probably arrogantly about 7 feet behind the three-point line.
Yeah.
It's raining threes.
You held the pose for a little while, too. Watched it go in. Janet Yamanaka Mello.
What?
No way.
That's
There's
what
no
it
way her
says.
name is Yamamako Yellow.
Yamanaka.
Janet?
Janet Yamanaka Mello.
There's no way that's a word.
Why does that sound so
Yamanaka
unbelievable
Mello.
to you?
Because I've never heard of the last name Yamanaka.
It's a middle
Yellow.
name.
Oh.
Yamanaka.
I thought it was one last
No,
name.
Janet Yamanaka
Oh, okay.
Mello. Is that the second most common criminal middle name? What was the other
Behind
one?
Wayne.
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 Is usually always in the middle name position, a lot of these people, but a lot of these criminals. But hers is Yamanaka. Yamanaka? Is Yamanaka here? She was a civilian employee at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio when she stole the money.
Outrage.
Yeah,
By the way-
outrage. Her defense attorney said this. Said she is deeply remorseful. She realizes she committed a crime and she did wrong and is very ashamed. He also said she saved many things she bought with the money in hopes that the items are sold to reimburse the government. I don't think the court gave us enough credit for that, but we can't complain, he said.
Yeah, you're right. You can't.
She's changed a lot in the way she's done things in the past
Yeah, maybe
5 months.
We need
and
to recognize that.
He doesn't think the court is recognizing that. In other news, car thefts are up. Wouldn't you think that we would not have car theft much anymore because of the anti-theft technology that we have these days in modern cars? But apparently, car thefts are going crazy. Just unbelievable. The most car thefts. An amazing... I mean, car thefts like people have never seen before.
Never seen.
And there's a big Facebook group called, I think it's Stolen Cars, DFW Stolen Cars and Trucks, where people are helping each other out to find their stolen vehicle because police are swamped, and I guess car theft is kind of a low priority since it's not a direct crime, violent crime on someone's person, which is the highest priority. So people are helping each other find their stolen cars. But most stolen cars, George, you're the only one of us that has had this happen to them.
Yeah.
Tony Romo stole your truck.
Yeah, what was the story? Why was
Tony
it?
Romo did not steal my truck.
Well, how did we get this story? I just heard it reported on local national radio.
You made that up, that it was Tony Romo.
But it was stolen, and
was very
it took
disturbing.
them how long to recover it?
Just a couple of hours. It was in the neighborhood about a mile down the street.
And they just used it to transport some other stolen goods, is
And
the theory?
Yeah, and they had to steal another truck because I had about 2 miles of gas left.
Ah, see, smart. You were smart.
Yeah.
By running it almost to empty before you parked it. Yeah, that's got to be a very violating feeling,
It was so
getting back
weird.
in your truck.
Yeah.
My grandmother had a car that got stolen all the time. I think her car was stolen out of her driveway like 3 times.
Wow.
And they'd always find it. It was trashed when they'd find it down by the river or something like this. Beer cans all in it, and yeah,
So wrong.
she had a big old Caprice Classic, American iron,
Yeah.
desirable car, and with no anti-theft measures in it whatsoever. So it was always getting taken.
Is it still the F-150 that's up there in
Yeah.
trucks? Or I also saw Kias.
Well, yeah, the Kia and Hyundai thing, they had some...
They're easier to steal?
There was a social media deal that people teaching other people how to steal them, and I think they've got that under control now. I'm not sure. But watch out. You don't want to be a victim of a car thieveries.
No.
Thieves.
Thieves.
Verdine White, the bassist for Earth, Wind, and Fire, 73.
Greatness.
Right there.
Iman, 69. Married to David Bowie,
Nice.
the inventor of the knife. Right?
No.
Wasn't she with David Bowie?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, but
he didn't admit the night.
yeah.
Thurston Moore, 66, guitarist for Sonic Youth. Matt LeBlanc, actor from Friends, 57. We had him on.
I don't remember having him on.
For some reason, I thought we had him on. I know we've had Matthew Perry and Lisa Kudrow.
Yes.
But never Courtney Cox or Jennifer Aniston.
Nope.
And never David Schwimmer.
Nope.
But now you're telling me no Matt LeBlanc.
I mean, it's possible. I don't remember him, but I don't remember a lot of things.
I wish that I was on with you guys. I'd never heard about being on with you until a reporter asked me that in home. There is Lee Harvey Schwimmer.
Oh, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
did you hear the news note from the director of the FBI yesterday testifying in front of Congress about the assassination attempt?
Yes.
He said that we discovered 10 days before the assassination attempt.
People sent this to me.
He Googled how far was Lee Harvey Oswald from John F. Kennedy.
Okay. I know. He DM'd me, and I sent him the info, and now I regret it. I didn't know at the time.
I'm sure you did.
You knew to the inch.
John Robinson is 89.
The football coach?
Mm-hmm.
No. Okay.
Former Rams
Yeah.
coach, and I think he was at USC, too.
Yes, he was.
Right? Doug Drabeck is 62.
Pirates, among other teams.
I think he pitched for the Astros, too. Didn't he win the Cy Young around 1990?
Yeah,
somewhere
right around there, yeah.
Somewhere there, yeah. Bill Wagner is 53. Former Astro and Mets closer.
Should have said Billy, my bad.
Oh, okay.
He's a 7X All-Star, 4.22 career saves. Matthew Dumba is 30.
Matt Dumba?
Yeah.
Now current star.
Was that a drop?
Will be now, I guess.
Now a current star.
Correct.
Alvin Kamara, 29.
Saint?
Bryce Young is 23.
Okay, rough first year.
Yeah, hoping to bounce back.
Yeah, but he's a Carolina Panther with sharp teeth and claws. All right.
Patreon.com/sportsgreek.
Today's Olympic update. George, we have more flag bearer controversy, I'm sure, in your mind.
Okay.
Because, a couple of days ago, LeBron James was named as the male flag carrier for the United States. Well, the female flag carrier for the United States will be Coco Gauff.
Yeah.
The 19-year-old, maybe she's 20 by now, tennis star, who last year was the world's highest-paid female athlete.
And her last name's Golf, and she plays tennis?
Gauff. Coco Gauff.
That's an amazing, ironic note, though.
And there are a lot of big-name female athletes on our squad, specifically Simone Biles and Katie Ledecky, but Coco Gauff is right up there with them in terms of notoriety, and she will be the female flag bearer, and she is thrilled because she's a huge LeBron fan and has never met him.
Great. So you can't say anything
You sound real
against it
happy for
because it just sounds like you're a big jerk when you say you shouldn't carry the flag. I'm just saying it should go to somebody else who is all about the Olympics, that the Olympics is the pinnacle of their athletic career.
It's the pinnacle of their career.
Well, the Olympics are underway, and with controversy. We've had a couple of matches played in Olympic soccer. And yesterday, the fans went crazy during the opening match between Argentina and Morocco. Morocco eventually beat Argentina 2-1 following a review of a call on a play. And play had been suspended with the score tied 2-2, and the fans were so irate about this situation. Because Argentina scored deep into injury time to salvage what looked like a draw. The decision on the ruling of the goal, which they decided was a non-goal, was delivered 2 hours after play was suspended.
Whoa.
When the teams came back out onto the pitch to finish the match in an empty stadium because they had to clear the fans out, because before that, Argentinian players had bottles, cups, and even a flare thrown at them by the fans. Once the players cleared the field, bottles and cups were everywhere. And the Olympic website showed the match as interrupted. And then about an hour after the incident, organizers at the venue said the match was not officially over. Players were being kept at the stadium to resume play. They didn't really know what was going on. Video boards informed the fans that the match was suspended and they had to leave. So the organizers knew they were going to have to resume the match, but they didn't want any fans there, so they told the fans that the match had been suspended and for them to go.
How's Olympic security doing if someone gets a flare into a stadium?
That's a good question.
Jeez.
So it ended up being resolved after a 2-hour delay, and Morocco beats Argentina 2-1. We have a spy scandal already.
I saw this.
The games haven't even officially started, but we have our first spying scandal. During a practice session for the New Zealand women's soccer team on Monday of this week, officials noticed a drone flying overhead. Team staffers notified police, who then apprehended the operator of the drone, who was later identified as a member of the Canadian women's football team. New Zealand and Canada are both in Group A, and later in the day, the Canadian Olympic Committee acknowledged that the operator was a non-accredited member of the Canadian soccer support team.
Okay, so it's a little better.
I am too.
And they disavowed the person's actions. Everybody apologized. And apparently that's a big deal at these Olympic Games. Countries spying on other countries using drones.
And apparently the information was they kick it back and forth a lot and miss a lot of shots in front of the net. That was the scouting report.
And we're going to need to score 1 or 2
That's
goals
all we need.
To win.
That's all we need.
And then just repeat that scouting report for every game. All right, the United States is projected to win 112 medals overall in these games in Paris. 39 gold is the prediction, 32 silver, and 41 bronze. China is forecast to win 86 overall, 34 gold, 27 silver, and 25 bronze. The U.S. and China finished 1-2 in both categories in the 2021 pandemic-delayed Tokyo Olympics. And a lot of people thought China here would overtake the United States in one of these last couple of Olympic Games, but at least the U.S. is projected to again beat China. This would be the 8th consecutive time the U.S. has won the most overall medals at the Summer Games.
Okay.
After the U.S. and China, in the forecast for the most medals, Britain is expected to be third best, followed by France, the home country, then Australia, then Japan, Italy, Germany, the Netherlands, and South Korea. It's always weird to me, but countries do get this medal bump when they're the host nation.
Yeah.
And France is expected to triple the number of gold medals it won in Tokyo 3 years ago. And then Japan won a record 58 overall medals 3 years ago in Tokyo, 27 gold. There's something about playing at home that really boosts these countries.
Does Britain usually do that well in the Summer Olympics? Projected to be third?
They do.
That
they
seems
usually.
kind of odd.
It seems like they're usually in the top 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Good news on the American Olympic front. Salt Lake City is going to host the Winter Games again. The International Olympic Committee voted yesterday to formally award the 2034 Winter Games to Salt Lake City. They will now be a repeat host. You remember they hosted the Winter Games back in 2002. And this will be the 5th time the U.S. has hosted the Winter Games. Lake Placid hosted twice, back in the 1930s and then in 76, 80. Yeah, 80, right. Miracle on Ice. And Squaw Valley in California hosted, I believe, in the 60s. So it'll be our 5th Winter Games.
Okay.
And, of course, we're getting the Summer Games in Los Angeles in 2028. And as we told you in scatter shooting, I think, a couple of months ago, a few of those competitions are going to be held up the road in Oklahoma City, rowing and softball.
Yeah.
So if you want to go to the 2028 Summer Games in Los Angeles, go to Oklahoma City.
It's so weird.
The 2030 Winter Games will be held in the French Alps. That hasn't been officially announced yet, the exact host city. Last time it was there, it was not Morzine, but I can't remember. But that was sometime in the 90s, I think. Mm-hmm. Grenoble, I think, has also hosted in the past in the French Alps. And Cortina in Italy in 2026 will be the Winter Games host. So we've got Cortina, and then the French Alps, and then Salt Lake City, 2034. I've never been to the Olympics. I was kicking myself in 2002 for not going because I love the Winter Games, and it was here in our country in Salt Lake City. I think I'll go in 2034.
Okay.
And I may think about going in 2028 to Los Angeles. I'm not as big a fan of the Summer Games, but, we didn't go in 84 when they were in L.A.
Let's put in that request with Kat. We go cover it.
Didn't go to Atlanta. Probably should have gone to Atlanta. That's not that far of a drive.
So you've never been to Olympics?
Never been to Olympics, Buster Bluth.
Maybe it'll coincide during Cowboys training camp.
Yeah, I guess it could.
We could hit both.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I wonder if it would coincide. Probably. God, that'd be a great double dip trip. Or would Jerry not host training camp out there because the Olympics would take all of the attention away from the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Who would at that time be 32 years without a Super Bowl.
In the desert.
All right, that's your Olympic update. I'm going to give you my book review for the month of June. It took me about halfway into July to finish this book. And at some point on X today, I will post all of my books so far. But I'm doing a pretty good job after we had our daughter a couple of years ago. My book a month thing fell by the wayside. So one of my New Year's resolutions was to get back to a book a month. And so I've done that so far.
That's good.
Again, I'm not the voracious reader that Tim Calishaw is. I think he's probably up to about 30 books by now.
I think he pads his stats.
Maybe. I think he reads a couple pamphlets.
Yeah,
and
Dr.
he includes
Seuss
those.
and stuff like that and counts it.
I am not above that either. Since I was falling a little behind, I will occasionally choose a short book. I've read a couple of short books this year just so I can catch up. But the book that I just read is a longer book, and it took me a while to get through it because I reread a couple of the chapters because I found it really, really interesting. There's a big interest in longevity these days. I don't know why that interest is resurgent or top of mind for everybody for the first time. A lot of people say it was because of the pandemic, and that refocused a lot of people, priorities in life, maybe valuing health over making money and things like that, and living longer became very important to a lot of people. Also, the latest stats show that lifespan is declining for the first time in about 100 years.
Yeah.
We are not living as long as we were 10, 20, 30 years ago. So that's very strange. So a lot of people are looking into how to lead a healthy life. Well, we were on our trip to Florida a couple of months ago, and we were in a bookstore there, and I was looking in one of the sections, I think on health and fitness, and I saw this book called Outlive, The Science and Art of Longevity by Dr. Peter Attia. And it says, Rethinking Medicine to Live Better Longer. And I picked it up and I started thumbing through it. It looked great, so I bought it. And I don't really keep up with the New York Times bestseller lists. I don't look at that.
Was it up there?
But come to find out that once I had bought it, it had already been on the New York Times bestseller list for 6 months or 12 months. So it was a very famous book.
Okay.
I had not heard of it, but after reading it, I can see why so many people have read it. And the background of Dr. Peter Attia, he was trained at Johns Hopkins, was going into medicine, but soured on it. What he calls Medicine 2.0. We had Medicine 1.0, which was when we were starting to figure everything out, then Medicine 2.0, which is what most doctors practice these days, he didn't like because it was more treatment and not prevention. And in his residency, he saw a lot of examples of where he thought he was doing the right thing in trying to help somebody get out ahead of something or prevent this or make them more comfortable here so they don't suffer there. And he would be corrected by his superiors. No, you're not doing the right thing. The right thing is to treat this person's symptoms or treat this person's disease. And he said, we need medicine 3.0, which is not treating the disease, but preventing the disease.
Mm-hmm.
And so his book, Outlive, is all about not just lifespan, but health span is what he calls it. So you may have a lifespan of 80 years, but if in the first 50 you're healthy, but the last 30 you're not, well, then your health span was only 50 years.
Yeah.
And so those last 30 years of not being healthy, well, what good is the lifespan? I mean, I'm sure it's good in some cases. Even if you're not healthy, you're still experiencing things. And by the way, this whole, and he acknowledges this whole conversation is very nuanced, and there are outliers, but we're generally speaking here. You want your health span to be as long as your lifespan if possible.
Does he think is part of this whole thing about prevention, and maybe even once you've been diagnosed with some sort of condition, that generally we're over-medicated?
That's part of it. Yep. Now, he doesn't say all medicine is bad.
Right. Sometimes you have to do it.
But he talks about the 4 horsemen that are coming for all of us. These are the 4 things that get most of us: heart disease, cancer, metabolic dysfunction, which he talks about a lot in this book, and that is when your body chemistry just gets out of whack and organs like the liver or the pancreas stop working properly. You aren't processing things like glucose well. That leads to type 2 diabetes, which is a major problem in our country. It can lead to stroke, a whole host of problems. So metabolic disorder, I believe only 12% of Americans are metabolically healthy.
12%?
12% are metabolically healthy. And he has a checklist in this book of 5 or 6 things that if you check even one of them, you're in trouble. But if you check 3 of them, then you are definitely metabolically unhealthy. And most Americans check 2, 3, 4 of those boxes.
One of them is, do you eat hot dogs?
Something like that. So it's heart disease, cancer, metabolic dysfunction, and the 4th of the 4 horsemen, degenerative neurological disorders like Alzheimer's, dementia, things like that. That's what's getting almost all of us in the end. One of those 4 horsemen. There is a 5th that he acknowledges and that he has struggled with and that he writes a lot about in this book, and that is mental health. And a lot of it is tied to the 4 horsemen.
Right.
But a lot of it is not. It's its own thing. But he makes it a separate category, and that's something everybody has to deal with, in their own way. And there are preventative measures there, but he's mainly focused on these 4 horsemen and how to prevent chronic disease. Instead of just treating the chronic disease when it rolls around, he says there are so many things that we can do to prevent the chronic diseases. And he writes in chapter 11, more than any other tactical domain we discuss in this book, exercise has the greatest power to determine how you will live out the rest of your life. There are reams of data supporting the notion that even a fairly minimal amount of exercise can lengthen your life by several years. It delays the onset of chronic diseases pretty much across the board,
Wow.
but it is also amazingly effective at extending and improving health span. Not only does it reverse physical decline, which I suppose is somewhat obvious, but it can slow or reverse cognitive decline as well. It also has benefits in terms of emotional health, although those are harder to quantify. So he writes, if you adopt only one new set of habits based on reading this book, it must be in the realm of exercise. If you currently exercise, you'll likely want to rethink and modify your program. And if exercise is not part of your life at the moment, you're not alone. 77% of the U.S. population is like you. And now is the
77.
time to change that. He says going from 0 weekly exercise to just 90 minutes per week can reduce your risk of dying from all causes.
Wow.
So he says exercise is the wonder drug, and it's the most effective across the board. And he goes deeply, and this is a pretty long book, he goes deeply into the reasons for that.
What counts as exercise? I always wondered this about myself because you guys, like I know, Junior, you do like dedicated exercise things.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always like moving a pallet of bricks, armload at a time and building stuff and doing stuff that always has me out of breath and sweating like a hog for hours on end.
It's a great question, and I think he would say that's great that you're doing that.
Mm-hmm. But is it exercise?
He would say no.
Okay.
It's movement, at least.
It's consistent movement, and he says the question he gets asked the most is, should I be doing aerobic exercise or strength training? And he says the answer is yes.
Yeah, both.
You should be doing both. It's the aerobic exercise that he starts talking about, and he says the more you do, the better. But ideally, you would want to start, your first goal should be 4 45-minute sessions a week. So that's, what, 3 hours a week or something? 4 45-minute sessions a week. And he says the key here is Zone 2 training, which is a technical term for...
He's losing me already.
For your heart rate. Zone 1 is
cover
just...
2.
Zone 1 is going on a walk.
Uh-huh.
Zone 5 is sprinting.
Mm-hmm.
Zone 2 is an effort that you can still carry a conversation with whoever you're exercising with, but it's kind of difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get the heart rate up to at least that for 45 minutes a day, 4 days a week, and hold it there. So what you're doing, that kind of lifting and whatever work that is, that would be more strength training, which he says is equally important. And he talks a lot about strength training, especially as we age, because we start to lose muscle mass very rapidly the more we age, and that falls are, I think, the number one killer, or accidents,
I know,
for people over the age of 65 or 70. And he really, really stresses stability, that if you want to live to be 100, that you need to have a stable musculature and core, and you need to
wear
be able,
clown shoes.
Yeah,
really
wear clown
solid
shoes.
base.
You need to be able to handle stepping off a curb when you don't know you're stepping off a curb, and being able to balance yourself, because that gets so many of us.
Yeah, something that used to be pretty easy.
Yeah.
But as you get older, it's not.
And an important part of that is losing weight, because the problem is that people gain weight and it makes you top heavy.
Yeah.
Because you'll have it around your middle, and then your core is all off, and your balance is not nearly as good.
He says there are two great predictors of how long you're going to live: your VO2 max, which is measured, on the treadmill or the exercise bike, and that's how your body processes oxygen and delivers it to the muscles.
Max.
He's the VO guy.
And grip strength.
Really?
Yeah, and that's one of his in his plan on how to live longer is strengthening your grip. You
one of my hands is great at that.
One of your hands gets tons of work.
Cheap.
Carry heavy dumbbells around, or hang from a bar. If you can hang from a bar for 2 minutes, then you've got a good grip strength. But from the standpoint of aerobic exercise, he says maybe the most vital thing in keeping our bodies healthy is the health of our mitochondria. Those are the powerhouse of the cells. And aerobic exercise strengthens and increases mitochondria. And people who just sit around, their mitochondria just disappears. And so their cell health is extremely poor. But if you're exercising, you have healthy mitochondria, and that means you have healthy cells, and that helps you fight chronic disease more than anything else. One thing that shocked me in this book, he said, you are better off smoking than not exercising.
Really?
He says,
so I can start smoking.
People who don't exercise are unhealthier than people who smoke.
Okay.
Which shocked me.
But
a
someone's already
lot of
asked
people
about
that
Keith Richards. I guess that explains that.
But a lot of people that smoke also don't get exercise, so
Right.
they got the double whammy.
Right.
Yeah.
He talks about sleep and how important that is, and I know that's a big topic for the three of us and all of us here on the morning crew that wake up ridiculously early, but you have to try to get your 8 hours.
It's another strike.
And that is not only incredibly important in the rebuilding of your physical body, but also your brain every night. That's where we regenerate everything. And so he says it's incredibly important. Nutrition was a weird chapter. He said it's his least favorite subject. He says there are just way too many questions out there and nobody really has answers. Every diet thinks it's the right diet. And so he preaches some basics, don't drink sugary drinks and try to eliminate as much sugar as you can, and you need a lot of protein, a lot of the basics there, but he doesn't really even like to talk much about nutrition because he thinks there's so much misinformation out there, and he likens it to talking to somebody about religion or politics. Everybody is so dug in on their diet.
Right.
Yeah.
But he says that a lot of the people that he hears argue these diets, their information is just incorrect. But kind of like politics.
Yeah.
But they go ahead and argue it anyway. They're just convinced that this is the only way. That you have to be a vegan or you have to be keto or whatever it is. But he just says be sensible when it comes to nutrition. Same thing with alcohol. He says there's no question alcohol hurts us. But
another strike.
But even he has a drink every now and then. And he says genetics obviously also play a role. And for a lot of the centenarians, it does play a role. But he says genetics doesn't matter until you're about 80 or 90. He says he hears so many stories of, well, my dad died of a heart attack at 50 and my brother died of a heart attack at 50, so I'm destined to die of a heart attack at 50. He says that is absolutely not the case. That is, if you work at your health span and if you work at all of these areas, exercise and strength and balance and sleep and nutrition, that there is nothing in our genetic code that says you are destined to die at 50 from a heart attack just because your family has that history.
Yeah.
Now, when you get to 80 or 90, he says then genetics play a very, very large role in how long we're going to live. But he talks about one goal that everybody should have, and that is the centenarian decathlon. And the things that you should aim to do in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, because it will help extend your health span. Hike 1.5 miles on a hilly trail. You should be able to do this at all times, starting in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. Get up off the floor under your own power using a maximum of one arm for support.
Yeah.
Pick up a young child from the floor. Carry two...
Not just at random at some public place that it's not your child.
Yeah, make sure...
Do not kidnap.
Have some sort of custody.
Carry 2 5-pound bags of groceries for 5 blocks. Lift a 20-pound suitcase into the overhead compartment of a plane. Balance on one leg for 30 seconds, eyes open. Bonus points, eyes closed, 15 seconds. I tried it with my eyes closed. I couldn't make it 5 seconds.
I know, yeah, and the officer was pissed at me the other day.
Number 7, have sex.
George is down as another strike.
Gosh.
George is against nursing home sex.
Damn it.
Yeah, why are you against that?
Says
He's against old people
he
having...
says this is helping you stay young.
Okay. Well, I'm not in a nursing home yet.
Might as well be.
Number 8, climb 4 flights of stairs in 3 minutes. Number 9, open a jar, back to grip strength. And number 10, do 30 consecutive jump rope skips. He says if you can do these, and he's got a full list that's much longer, but it's basic tasks, everyday tasks like this, that if you can keep pushing this out, where you can still do all of those in your 50s, or then your 60s, or then your 70s, then you are greatly increasing the chances that you could live to be 100.
Okay.
So there you have it. That's
I think
the
I
book
can
of
do
the
it.
month.
It's been a good one.
Okay, George is already you're already raising the white flag.
Yeah.
All right, well, you should read this book. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's called Outlive, The Science and Art of Longevity by Dr. Peter Italia. And again, at some point today, I'll post all the books that I've read so far this year. All right, 8:35 on the ticket. Coming up next, let's talk about the Cowboys' State of the Team address with one of the guys who'll be up there. We'll visit with Stephen Jones. And joining us now on the ticket hotline is one of those three who will be addressing the media. It's the Cowboys' second in command. We say good morning to Stephen Jones.
Well, good morning, guys. How y'all doing this morning?
Doing okay.
Y'all having a brat summer?
Yeah, I guess.
Y'all lose weight to fit into your tankinis?
Yeah, trying to.
Jared Jr.'s been wearing a tankini in the pool.
Has he?
He has. Of course, Mama and Daddy don't let him in the big pool. He's only allowed in that splash pool they got out back. Has to wear his floaties, too.
Oh, come on. He doesn't either.
But we're busy preparating for the opening press conference, and we are. And
Preparating.
we got microphones to talk into, and teleprompters for Daddy to ignore, and a 17th century glockenspiel that I'm supposed to hit every time someone asks about the day.
You guys are still doing that.
17th century one.
Yeah, we flew back from Texarkana last night. Now he's in Oxnard.
Okay.
Yeah, we was in a trial about Daddy's gonads.
Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, it's been kind of an uncomfortable week, I would imagine.
But we took the PJ to Oxnard.
Okay.
By the way, everything changed when Daddy got that private plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mama made him get one so he'd keep his tinkler away from gate agents. Did y'all hear Daddy did boy-girl stuff with that gate agent? Gave me a little
Yeah,
something
we've
to
heard
spy
all
on?
about it. I can't believe you're bringing it up.
Yeah, I love spying on her.
Oh, gosh.
You ought to see her when she emerges from the swimming pool in slow motion. It's really something.
Slow motion.
Yeah, and it's okay to look at her with hungry eyes because she's only half real.
Well, no, that's not true.
Since she came out of non-mama, she's only my half-real sister.
Well, I know. That's what makes that messed up.
So I can lust after half of her. And I choose the lower half.
Okay, Stephen, you
That
should
part
not be
with the
doing
booty
that.
butt and the front bottom. I like that part. Now that Daddy knows he ain't got to give his fake kid a bunch of money, now we can start working on the Dak Prescott deal.
That has
Okay.
nothing to do with Dak or
It
CD
does.
Lamb.
We
I
had
would-
to save money. We had to keep it in reserve in case this thing didn't go our way. But now that we got that behind us, we're going to be signing deals with Dax Prescott and Compact Disc Lamb and Mike McCartney. We got
All
walking
three are
around.
going to get a
Three of
deal?
them.
Yeah, we're very excited. We look forward to being out here pissing off the Oxnard Homeowners Association, putting up VIP seating. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, that is right next to those houses.
Y'all seen America's Sweethearts documentary?
Yeah, we have.
I ain't seen that much footage of Cowboys cheerleaders since Rich Dalrymple let me borrow his phone.
Okay.
He had about 12 documentaries on there. When y'all get out of here, we'll take the bang bus out and head to Hollywood.
Is that what y'all call it?
That's what we call it. That's what Daddy calls it. Good morning, Nate.
Okay,
Okay,
we'll
see ya.
See you, Stephen. We'll hear more from him later today.
Thank you, Craig. Shout out to P1 Frank, who says, I'm on vacation on a beach in Spain right now.
That's pretty cool.
And I love that I'm listening to you guys on my phone. He's listening to it on his speaker, on his phone. And he says, I'm constantly hearing Gordo say, what color panties are you wearing? And I'm reaching for my phone to turn down the volume fast because I'm in a foreign land and scared of offending people. That was part of a news story I did earlier in the show. But yeah, shout out to Frank, listening to us in Spain.
Let go, Frank.
I was telling someone recently how cool that is and how when you have the lifespan that the ticket has had, we've experienced a lot of change, technological innovation, and how cool it is that you can listen to our radio station anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's pretty amazing because when we started off, and in many ways we still are, limited by a signal that is not the greatest in the world, but it's what we got, right?
Yep.
1310 AM and 96.7 FM, but with the app anywhere in the world. P1 Nick, wants to mention that Southwest, about the Southwest story that came down earlier today, that they are going to move away from open seating and go to assigned seats.
Thank God.
Chosen seats. He says premium doesn't necessarily mean first class, so they may not put first class on their planes, but may put premium. But my question is, what is the difference if whatever the top class is on the plane, what's the difference between that and first class?
So
it's first class on that plane, right?
Yeah, technically, sure. Nick would probably answer this, and this is my guess, is that first class is usually different seating, bigger seats.
Right.
And what Southwest will do is keep the same seats 3 to a row.
Just space them out a little bit more.
Just give those seats more leg room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he says they're being rather opaque on that, but it takes effect next year. We were wondering when they were going to make the changeover from open seating to. So yeah, it'll be another, 6 months or so.
Yeah, okay. February 14th is the date. Valentine's Day, which makes sense. Love. Mm-hmm. Southwest Airlines.
He says they're going to reconfigure planes and put extra legroom, and also they need regulatory approval for all of that.
Okay.
So that will happen. All right. We were debating what should be the theme to the NBA on NBC, and I recommended the Game of Thrones theme. And it's always epic every time it comes on. They use the same theme song for Game of Thrones and this latest series, House of the Dragon. And it's cool. Giorgio, listen how pumped this gets you as you see the opening sequence is always really interesting, too, and intricate. It never shows
just
people.
A dragon flying around.
No, it's not a dragon flying around wearing sunglasses. But it's cool. It starts off minor. It moves to the major third. Throw that in there. That alternates between major and minor. It's kind of cool. Listen to it.
Yeah, it's good.
Luka taking the court in slow motion, a dragon circling over his head.
See, now if this was NFL Films music, you'd be bagging on it.
That's
is
what
true.
It sounds like.
Yeah, it does.
It sounds more like NFL Films
and
music.
on third down, Leroy Jordan intercepted the ball.
In cold weather, the guy's breathing the smoke out.
This is too low energy to be the opening theme song for a sports broadcast. It's a little slow.
Yeah, I don't think something important's about to happen.
No.
You don't?
I just think someone's about to get jacked by a dragon.
I knew you were going to say that.
We good.
It always sounds vulgar.
It doesn't.
I don't think you would like Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. Do you
Sounds like
like
there's a lot of violence and incest. So, yeah, I think I'm out.
Wait, what was just said on the air?
The theme of this goofy show you watch?
You don't like those two things in your television shows?
No.
That's why I bailed on Sanford and Son. Wasn't enough of that in there. Okay. We passed a very important anniversary. It happened on July 10th, the year July 16th, the year 2010.
Were you there?
14 years ago. Some 14 years ago. The most unlikeliest of things happened, and in the New York Times, I guess this was the Athletic, New York Times, are the same thing, right?
Yep.
The writer argues, Grant Brisbee argued that this was the most unlikely thing in baseball history that ever happened, and he lays it out in a full piece.
He's not far off.
This is when the Rangers' heavy-set catcher at the time, Benji Molina, hit for the cycle.
And was the last hit the triple?
The last hit was the triple. And even more unlikely than Benji Molina hitting for the cycle is that I was at the baseball game and saw it in person.
You saw that and Kenny Rogers' perfect game.
I saw the perfect game, yes.
But with Benji,
What?
it wasn't here.
It wasn't, yeah, that's the other thing. So I not only witnessed him hit for the cycle, but it wasn't here. It was in Boston.
Crazy.
Fenway Park.
I was at Fenway at the time, and I happened to see him hit for the cycle. I go to maybe one baseball game every half decade. And I've seen a perfect game, and I've seen the most unlikely baseball player that hit for the cycle.
Gordon Keith.
And the other night, you saw an incredible extra inning game.
That was awesome, yeah.
Something big happens.
Every time I go
you
to the ballpark, something big happens. So this guy, Grant Brisby, says, my hypothesis is that Benji Molina's triple to complete a cycle was the unlikeliest event in baseball history. And he starts with the odds of an average hitter hitting for the cycle. So the average hitter in 2012 would hit for the cycle about once every 23,000 games. And a leadoff hitter might hit for the cycle about once every 14,000 games because they're a leadoff hitter. They're going to get more at-bats. Well, of course, Benji Molina never hit in the leadoff spot in his 13-year career.
No.
And he was never asked to hit higher than fourth in a starting lineup. And when he hit, matter of fact, he most often hit in the eighth spot. And when he hit for the cycle that night, he was in the number 8 spot.
By the way, a leadoff hitter not only will get the most at bats, the most
They're
chances,
fast.
but they're usually very fast.
Right.
So they can get that triple.
And Benji wasn't. And I don't know if, our listeners remember what Benji looked like. Some of our younger listeners may not be so familiar with him, but he was a pretty chunky guy.
Yeah.
And in more than 65% of his games, he hit 6th or lower. So he's hitting 8th that night. And in the games in which he batted 8th in the lineup, he got 4 plate appearances or more in 245 of the 363 games, which means he had about a 33% chance of not even reaching that 4th plate appearance. So that was rare to begin, or at least rarer. It's something that's limiting.
That. Yeah.
He had hit 17. He had 17 4-hit games in his career. So you only have 17 games in which he could have done this, that he even got 4 hits. So to get those 4 specific hits is very, very rare. So he had a 1.2% chance of getting a 4-hit game at all.
Right.
And there, of course, the decline of the triple has been talked about a lot. It's a very rare thing to have to begin with. But the only player from the 60s to crack the 25 all-time lowest triple rates is Boog Powell. So
Miller Lite commercials.
Mm-hmm.
Benji Molina has the 13th lowest triple rate in history among players with more than 5,000 plate appearances.
Wow.
So he's 13 from the bottom.
Maybe the most unlikely thing to ever happen.
So he was close to the least likely person to even get the triple, much less get it in a game in which he had got the single and the double and the home run. Another little note about that home run that he hit that night on July 16th, 2010, was that it wasn't just a home run. It was a grand slam.
Oh, that's right.
So, and I thought when I saw that, I thought, this is amazing. Because the grand slam is a huge event. It's Benji Molina hitting it. He's already had this great game. I loved Benji Molina because of the way he looked. He was unlikely, as a catcher. Just kind of liked everything about the guy, right? And so I'd already seen him get a grand slam, so I was excited as can be for that. And then when he hit the triple, I'm going to play you the audio from this, if I can, here on America's favorite radio station. Y'all kind of talk about yourselves.
Is this our old buddy Josh
break up
Lewin
into
on the call?
Smaller groups, if you would.
I'm going to have to do that.
And talk about what Benji Molina's triple meant to you guys. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, here we go.
This is Josh and
this is Josh and Tom Grieve.
The monster yesterday, he homered up on top of it.
This is all 4 hits.
Up the middle it goes. Benji Molina has another hit.
Starting all over again by being out in the bullpen.
Benji Molina to right field. That ball taking off a little bit. Looking to get up there. And it's dropped in right field by J.D. Drew. Molina's going to end up at second base.
Well, Benji's starting to swing the bat now. He hit the home run, a bullet to third last night. Tonight he's got a hard hit up the middle and a long ball to right field. It would have been a home run in our ballpark.
Benji Molina cranks one into center field. It goes to the track. It goes to the wall. Benji Molina hits it out. A grand slam at Fenway. That trade's looking real good right now.
And they show the person, the stand that caught the grand slam ball, and of course everyone around them's yelling at them to throw it back, and they won't do it.
The Rangers lead the Red Sox. Curtis Granderson sliding in to make it 5-4. There goes Benji again to center field. Now, could this be a triple? Come on. Benji, get going, kiddo. You got the cycle, big guy. Get there. He did it. Pigs have flown in Boston, Massachusetts.
Unbelievable.
Great call.
And he was so out of gas rounding the bases. I mean, he looked like he was struggling to get to third. But yes, I was there and screaming at the people that were with me because seemed like they were more interested in eating hot dogs and stuff. Look at it, he's going! Going nuts. Yeah, I got to be part of it. So, anniversary, 14 years ago. What is the most historic thing that you have witnessed in person in sports?
Wow.
Did you witness any historic moment in sports? I mean, unlike,
Emmett breaking the Russian record or Nolan's 5,000th. I was there.
You were there for both of those.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good right there.
I don't have anything like that. I've never seen a no-hitter. Was never there for any of Nolan's benchmarks. Wasn't there for Emmett. I mean, maybe something in a Super Bowl. We went to a few Super Bowls, but I can't think of anything big like that. Never saw a perfect game. Never saw a cycle.
I've got two. I was at Kenny Rogers' perfect game in '94, and I also saw Ricky Williams break Tony Dorsett's rushing record.
That's pretty good.
University of Texas.
Yeah, I remember that. Brent Musburger on the call. Wasn't
Yep,
it?
Against Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I almost saw Nolan's last no-hitter. My brother and his friend, they were going to the ballpark, and I was going to... I mean, they had it was those ridiculous $4 seats or whatever they had, and it was real cheap. And I almost went with them, and I said, nah, it's all right, I'm staying home. And, of course, they come back in a great mood, and they're like, oh, dude, you wouldn't believe you missed it, because I didn't watch the game or anything. Like, I passed up. Imagine if I'd gone to that now. Then I really would be the weird Forrest Gump of guys who are barely interested in sports just happening into every big event. So I'm going to count that as me seeing a Nolan no-hitter. I mean, that basically is one. So congratulations to me is the point of this whole segment. Thank you. The end.
What is so weird, the disappearance of the triple. In 2007, Jimmy Rollins led the National League with 20, and Curtis Granderson led the American League with 23. And fast forward to 2022, 2 seasons ago, 7 and 9 led each league, respectively.
Wow.
And the explanation for that is what?
I don't know. Last year, Corbin Carroll had 10. Bobby Witt Jr. had 11.
Analytics putting fielders in the right spot to
maybe
thwart something like that.
Or analytics saying don't take the extra base, don't try to stretch it into a triple.
Yeah.
Or teams becoming less aggressive, or pitching just becoming more dominant. So hitting, we've seen hitting decline. People don't hit for average anymore, so just fewer balls put in play. Probably
launch angle emphasis.
Yeah.
If you hit it that hard, it's gone now.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah. Wild.
That is.
Yeah.
All right, Gordo. Thank you.
Yes,
That's
sir.
the corner.
But right now, by the miracle of phone, we go out to Oxnard, California for the Birdhouse, and we are joined by one Corby Davidson.
Yeah. Well, look at this. A snake in the birdhouse.
Oh, yeah.
I regret to inform you that, yes,
We are on the phone, even though I'm sitting in our broadcast tent right now, but we are having all sorts of broadcasting issues, it appears, as the power is down. But we're going to get it up for the press conference. Don't you worry. And you can pull the press conference off anytime anyway, so we're all right. We're okay. It's just the broadcasting part, you know.
Yeah. How's everything going out there so far, man?
So far, so good. We miss you guys. We'll see you out here in a couple of days.
Yes, sir.
Look forward to it very much.
All right.
Very, very much. Okay, from Tim. Would you rather win a bronze medal in breakdancing or have a 3-year career as the 12th man for the Pistons?
I'll take the Pistons.
Yeah, the money on that would be probably more worth it.
I don't know how celebrated the breakdancing bronze medalist will be when you return home.
I don't either. So let me ask you guys this question. Breakdancing is now
Yes.
Okay.
This year it is.
And just think, you will have an arena full of 15,000 people screaming your name when it's a blowout because they want to see you on the court.
Okay, but why are we putting breakdancing in now? Isn't that like 30 years too late?
I don't know. Maybe it's making a comeback because of all the dance shows on television. They thought it would be worth putting in.
I don't... Is breakdancing a thing?
Yeah. Didn't you see Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo?
Yeah, in the 80s?
90s.
Yeah, no, it is weird that they would have that now, but I guess they're just searching for events or other people to participate. And now you can be an Olympian. Now just think about the 14-year-old with the baggy pants and the toboggan on that is an Olympian, and he's out there breakdancing.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if you win a bronze medal, the U.S. Olympic Committee, you get $15,000 for a bronze medal. That's it. So 3 years on the Pistons roster, you're making more than $15,000.
Yeah, dude, I would be the 12th man for the Pistons. I would be in the G League for the Pistons rather than win a bronze medal in breakdancing. That holds no clout.
Yeah, I don't know about the G League for the Pistons, how much clout you're holding right there either. So if you say G League, I may take the bronze medal over being in the G League with no chance of going to the big club. Because now you get a free trip to France.
Yeah.
You're
an Olympic medalist.
You're on the medal stand, and then you're done. In the G League, you may have to,
What if they shoot Breakin' 3, and then you could be in that?
And you have your bronze medal on, and they call you out, and you just do your thing.
Yeah, you'd have to be in it.
It's like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of a big dance in the 60s or a big thing in the 60s.
The sprinkler?
And then in the
racism.
And then in the 90s, they decide to put it as an Olympic event. It's not racism.
Well, you said a big thing in the 60s. I was just trying to see which one you were talking about.
And now, the silver medalist in racism.
And he just gets up there. He's like, my hood doesn't even fit right.
He's just crying on the medal stand. I did it.
Take your hood off, brother. Show your face.
My wife worked all night on these.
I can't even see out of this thing, man.
I was just trying to name all the big things in the 60s. I didn't know where you were going with that.
No. That's definitely one of the biggest things in the 60s. Okay, would Jerry take a three-peat, but he never gets to speak into a microphone in public ever again?
No.
What's the other option? Oh, is that it?
Yeah,
I don't think he would. He's addicted to this, man. He loves it so much.
A three-peat. You see him everywhere. Like every other owner, he's everywhere. He just can't talk.
Man, he would learn.
Right now, he probably would take it because he wants to win a title so badly.
Supposedly.
God, that's a good one. That may be like press conference worthy.
Yeah, ask him. You're out there.
Yeah, I know.
Raise your hand for a question.
Okay. How many more years of no Cowboy championships would you endure in order to never have to listen to another political ad again?
God, 28's not enough.
We've been doing this for a long time. So, yeah.
I guess we're at 29 now.
I guess they don't bother me. I can listen to whatever political ad I can.
Me either.
I don't care.
No, it doesn't bother me either.
No.
I mean, I just feel like it's part of the fabric of what we do, and if they're around. Now, the political texts, you guys get like
oh
10
my
of those
gosh, just $3. Like I'm getting
Really?
hit up for money. Yeah,
I haven't
on my
gotten
text
one
messages
yet this year.
And it seems like they're all addressed to my wife and they're sent to me, and I don't understand it. I want to text back. Here's her number.
Hey, Julie, are you selling this house?
Right. Like, how does
I'm
that?
like,
That's
what house?
Wrong number. Who this? New phone. Who this? Or maybe late at night, around 12:45. 12:45 a.m. I text one of those numbers. You up? To see if I get a response. How does it feel to get interrupted when you're interrupting me all the time?
Well, I'll respond to him and ask, I'd love to vote for your candidate, but here's my requirements. And then just come up
like
with something
a PS5.
something very bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay, from Danny, would you rather find a giant dill pickle intentionally placed inside your left shoe or wear a hat made of wet cheese?
Hat made of wet cheese? I would just rather have the pickle because you would just, and take it out and eat it or whatever.
You don't even have, you wouldn't eat it.
You wouldn't eat that pickle in your shoe.
Why not?
Because that's disgusting.
It's just your shoe.
You wash your socks every single time you wear them, right? So why would you eat a pickle that's in your shoe?
Do I?
Okay. Now, if it was a dill pickle that was uncut, like unsheathed, and then you could take that pickle and wash the outside of it, I could see eating it, but the juice of if you cut the pickle in lengthwise, the inside of it hitting your shoe, that is a deal breaker. You can never eat that ever.
Deal breaker.
I will tell you this.
A deal breaker.
Yeah.
Still 5 minutes left.
Yeah. We're just waiting for the press conference.
That is the worst joke you've ever told since I've been on the show.
Yeah, I'd rather have
Not
a
even
pickle in
close.
the shoe. Why would a hat of wet cheese
No,
you're wearing?
put the arrow away. Sheath it.
Hat of wet cheese. How do you get cheese wet?
It's moist. It's humid, and
it's warm.
Kind of
warm
getting
cheese
a
is moist.
little mushy, a little bit, kind of
melty cheese, like a little.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
But a pickle in your shoe is probably very uncomfortable.
I may have to do this at camp just randomly. I'll pull my shoe off and have a pickle in it and eat it right in front of you.
Ugh, gross.
That is gross.
Okay, this guy wants to know why Donovan prefers Dallas over places with oceans and places with mountains. You've told this before, I know, but he wants you to reiterate, what is the allure of Dallas as a city compared to an oceanfront place or a mountain place?
The oceanfront place, I feel like it's overrated because all the property around it is stupid expensive just because there's some cold, dirty water near it. So if you're talking about living in like means of living or whatever, yeah, I would prefer being in this city where you can get way more bang for your buck just because I'm by a body of ocean that increases the property value 3 or 4 times. Seems to me ridiculous.
Yeah, I wonder what it is, too. Is it like oceanfront property or, within, let's say, 3 or 4 blocks of the ocean? Does it increase the property value 3 or 4 times or 10 times?
It may be 10 because we've seen some of the houses when we, walk to the ice cream place or whatever down there in Ventura, and you see something for sale, and it's like $1.8 million.
It's insane.
And it's, my house is 2 times bigger than that house.
Do you think that gets old?
Not
like,
really.
Like if you lived on the right there with an ocean view, after 2-3 years, you're seeing it every day. Does it have the same effect where its value is still there for you or not?
I think it would. I don't think you'd become desensitized to it, although from a mountain perspective, like there's a lot to do if you live in the mountains compared to just the ocean. There's stuff
like
going
what?
on. So,
hiking and biking.
Okay, so you hike and then you bike. It's the same thing over and over, right?
well, yeah, and then you ski in the winter. And
True, yeah.
You know,
It'd be like the ocean. You could fish and swim and lay in the sand.
Okay, so what about the other 361
right,
days?
No, you're not wrong. I do wonder that. I mean, I think because when we go to vacation, if you go to the beach, it's amazing because you're there for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. Same with the mountains. But if that's your everyday, does it lose its effect after? And maybe it doesn't for a while, but it seems like at some point it wouldn't be what it once was for you.
Don't you think you'd be happier, though, because you wouldn't be in a city?
Could be.
Like, I feel like being close to nature would do good for your mental health, right?
It probably would for a lot of people, but then there's people that I think, like Donovan, loves the city, loves being in the city. People in New York City, they love that vibe. Chicago, same thing. Like when we were up in Boston, there's something really cool about those giant cities, but there's something cool about the green space within those cities, like right there, the Boston Commons Park or Central Park.
I mean,
I need that.
Yeah, and it's all I know. So maybe if I'm not so jaded of being and growing up in the city and never really living anywhere else, maybe I would move to the mountains of Colorado and just absolutely fall in love with it. I don't know. But I just know you go on vacation and it's fun and it's something to look at, but then you're going right back to, what you're used to and all that. And I think it is I think you do get desensitized a bit. It's fun and it's great, and then hey, it is what it is. You just adapt to your surroundings, and that's everywhere. And I think that's the same with city living. You may not like the hustle and bustle, but if that's what you're in and this is what you are and where you are, then you kind of adapt to it and get used to it.
Yeah. Do we have time for one more? We gotta go.
Sure, go.
Who's going to drink the most and who will eat the most
Matt.
from the ticket team at the media party?
Oh, at the media party.
Now, I've won that title many years in a row.
Are you willing to get off of that title, or are you going to defend it?
Well, I think it's two-pronged. Have I won the eating contest and the drinking contest? I don't know.
I think you may be the defending champ, but I think Davey could give you a run for your money if he's up to it.
Yeah, I think so.
And you know what? Bob can put it down as far as food-wise. Maybe he throws down with a plate.
I try to eat quite a bit since it's Nobu and it's free.
Right.
Yeah.
But the drinking thing, because we get up earlier out there than we do here, so I try not to drink too much that later on in the evenings.
Although I do remember leaving here last year and you saying, "My God, my liver needs a break."
That's probably true.
So yeah, I will take Bob for the food and Corby. No, Davey for the drink. That's going to be my top two
at the media party. Yeah,
yeah, because Davey also drinks kind of girly drinks.
Nothing wrong with that.
They don't really look like drinks. They just look like fun.
That is a great way to describe it.
Yeah, they do look like
fun in a cup.
Like I want to hang out in a neon pink environment. That looks awesome.
And if it rains, you have the little umbrella to protect yourself.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Like a Johnny Walker on the rocks doesn't look like fun.
That's really true.
It's too much.
But like a chocolate teeny.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible.
Yes. That is so much fun.
Man, you're right.
Yes.
And we're going to have fun out there at training camp.
We are going to have
Corby,
fun.
thank you. Can't wait to see you. And we can hang out. Thank you. That's the Birdhouse.
Hey, Monty, send news.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Daddy.
So we have important chicken news here.
Ooh.
So, Ham, be by the channel. As the Ohio Supreme Court, they have their own apparently, ruled today that a customer who ordered boneless chicken wings should have reasonably expected to find a piece of bone in their meal. So back in 2017, they went to a chicken restaurant, ordered some garlic parmesan boneless wings, and got a near 1.5 inch long bone in their wing. They swallowed it.
Oh.
The person said, "I think a piece of meat just went down the wrong pipe." They thought it was just a regular piece of meat. A couple days later, he starts to feel real bad. He has a fever. He can't eat anymore. They go to the emergency room, and they discovered a thin chicken bone lodged in his esophagus.
He has a chicken growing in him.
Can I get a 20?
Go ahead.
I'll eat the boneless tendy every now and again, like the chicken wing.
Yeah.
Are you just like not chewing if you swallow the bone? Like, wouldn't you figure out just on like, I don't know, 2 to 3 chews that there's
mouthfeel on
Yeah.
an 1.5-inch bone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
you
but
should.
If it's really thin, maybe that could sneak its way in.
But wouldn't you chew it up and at least crunch the bone away somewhat if it's that thin?
Or that big in that case.
Yeah,
Like, you would know in your mouth if you had a bone in it.
Yeah.
Mark.
Like if you're
Mark yourself, dummy.
if you're eating a boneless chicken wing or chicken tender, whatever you want to call it, that's over an 1.5 inches. That's probably more than one bite. You're probably taking I'd say 1.5, two bites. So you're not just popping the whole thing in there and just swallowing the chicken
I
whole.
don't know, man. Garlic Parmesan's pretty good.
I mean, it's delicious.
I want that in
I'm
my
with you.
belly ASAP.
I'm with you.
Whereas if it was like a buffalo,
you just
may masticate a little bit.
Popping that thing.
But yeah, this sounds awful.
But the man's okay.
He is okay, but he sued the chicken company, the chicken place, and said, I ordered boneless wings. You gave me a piece of bone. What the heck? And the Ohio Supreme Court says that they are fine because they would only be liable if something not naturally found in the chicken was in there, like if there was like a marble. Or whatever.
like a thumb.
Like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, a man's thumb was in there and you choked on that. That would be a problem. But it's reasonable to find a chicken bone in a piece of chicken, even if it's boneless. Basically...
Oh, there's an Allen wrench.
Yeah, if I'm this guy's
Yes.
attorney, I'm trying to prove that this is not a chicken bone. It's like some other animal
Like an
bone that was in there.
elephant's?
Yeah.
But if it's a chicken finger and they still find a thumb, then that's also covered.
Okay.
All right.
I like what you're doing.
No one calls them chicken fingers. It's older than 8. So that may not be applicable.
Why do they call them chicken fingers?
Because they look like fingers.
I guess.
Thank you, Robitussin Sean.
They look like fingers.
Well, they do, kinda. Depending on how they're battered, sure.
I guess I could just Google it, but
Maybe like
never going to.
big old Prince Charles sausage fingers. Those are huge.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sausage fingers.
Yeah, thank you, Ty.
Them
So just order regular wings. They're better anyway. Get all flats.
Okay.
They're great.
You do all flats?
Yeah.
All flats are the way to go.
Yeah, dude.
Interesting. I like both. Mix it up.
You can one-hand those things.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. All right. Moving on here. I mean, I was a chicken prince for a long time. You learn tricks of the trade.
The chicken expertise in that room is just off the charts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very concentrated. Sometimes he just likes to wind me up and just watch me talk chicken. He'll just sit there. His eyes are sparkling.
Chicken and lobsters.
So a Pennsylvania 5th grade teacher is currently facing multiple counts of indecent exposure as he was spotted masturbating in a cemetery.
Speaking of indecent exposure, stay tuned for 2:35 today.
Yes.
One couple saw
That's
him.
a tease, America. That is a tease.
His name is Matthew Gaggett.
Oh, unfortunate.
Dude.
How Gagat? Gagot, maybe?
I'd go Gaggett.
So Mr. Gaggett.
You'd go Gaggett?
Yeah.
One couple said they drove by the cemetery and saw him actively masturbating. Which I don't know what that means. Like, on who's passively?
Like whose grave was he near?
So apparently he was not in there because he gets really turned on by mausoleums and headstones. I guess it's a good vantage point for a woman's house across a river.
Oh, that's even worse somehow.
Yeah.
You got binoculars or something?
Does not say he has binoculars, but apparently he is a...
They're just strapped around his head so he can have free use.
Well, yeah, he wanted to be hands-free.
Yeah.
So apparently, yeah, this is not the only time he's been caught doing this. He is a frequent stalker, then in public. Just go ahead and take care of it right there. which I don't even know if I could pull that off.
So to speak.
Like, if you just drop me in the middle of wrestling over there in Garland,
you're just not going to get worked up.
No, like I don't. You'd have to.
Sometimes when you got to go, you got to go.
I guess. But then, yeah, adding in that he's a 5th grade teacher, makes it a little more beaten. Again, if you will.
He'll never teach again, ever.
All right, our last story here on Cowboys opening press conference day. This week, Molly Rose Hogan, 26-year-old woman, got into a quarrel with her to-be husband. They got into a full-on fistfight over him wanting her to sign a prenup.
I don't think Junior would be terribly interested in this story.
No, not really. I mean, maybe that's the worst light you'll ever see her in. Maybe. But the victim said that Mrs. Hogan grabbed her fiancé around the head, struck him on the chest, torso, back, and legs, causing multiple physical injuries.
Like a 4-hit combo?
Just really waylaid him. Started getting into him. The victim, he tried to escape from her multiple times, but she just kept latching on. You gotta, I guess, give it to her for not giving up so easily. But I always wondered how it would go. Like, you know, I guess I've just heard about, you got to make sure that she signs a prenup, or you see it in movies or TV or something. But that conversation probably is incredibly awkward. It probably doesn't always lead to violence. But I'm wondering what dude that had so much that he wanted to, guard, should they get divorced, was marrying Mrs. Hogan. Little hope.
Maybe she's got a great personality.
Did she try to finish him up with a big leg drop at the end before she went
Kept
for the
calling
pin?
him brother.
Yeah. Getting the crowd,
rips her shirt off.
The crowd all hyped up.
Yeah, I got the Mania shirt on.
Yeah, a hand up to the ear.
Wearing the
All right.
do-rag.
Yeah.
All right, if she leaned into being a Hogan, that's more worth it.
She was a Hulkamaniac.
Yeah. Because they gave all the looks to Brooke, not Molly.
Brooke was married to, was she married or engaged to a former Cowboy offensive lineman? Remember who that was?
Was it Phil Costa?
Phil Costa sounds right.
Yep. I don't think those two
Which
ever
is
tied the knot.
very random.
I don't believe.
Maybe it was that win.
No,
Cool.
I think we would have remembered that. Dad has been happily married to Becky for a long time.
Who knows? All right, there's your news.
Get the Steak podcast daily at patreon.com/sportsgreek.
Once again, The Ticket presents Why Today Doesn't Suck.
One move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time.
You gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing. You get me?
And now, here are your hosts, Sean Bass and David Mino.
I've got a dude who lives in my neighborhood who has a car.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very nice, Sean. Sweet spot, Sean Bass, David Mino, and at 256, Hambiguity.
Thank you, Mino. Eat Cheese Market and Bakery, GimmeTheVin.com brings you Monty.
Thank you, Ham. Is it weird that I also have a dude in my neighborhood who has a car?
Me too. Man, I saw a guy driving.
Also?
I saw a guy driving around my neighborhood today, driving a car.
Interesting.
Do we need a sounder?
Might.
Yeah, let's hit the we have guys in our neighborhood that drive cars sound.
We're just going to start seeing cars everywhere now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, now that we've
it's
mentioned
it's
one.
like getting a new
Yeah.
car. You see that car everywhere. Now we're just going to see cars everywhere.
I've got a dude who lives in my neighborhood who has a car. Finish the thought, idiot.
It sounds like you were done talking.
Oh.
What a neighborhood. What a world.
Yeah, man, gotta see that contract.
Such affluence, let me tell you.
Well, they're the sweet spot, Sean. And Mino, we say hello to the hard line, Bob Corby. And do we have on-site Dave?
Efforting.
No.
Dave is approaching.
He has to go in and sign his new deal first to end his holdout.
He's got a massive tax bill due here in California.
He's not going to hold in?
No.
No, I don't think he's but he might be holding.
Because you're in California.
Yeah, it's
you
legal.
Killer, we got to stop, man. I got to get my fix.
Not the fix.
Gotta go to Skid Row.
Gotta go to Skid Row.
Here's the problem.
Heroin.
My dope.
Sir, do you know where Skid Row is around here?
Around here.
Tyler Smith in 20 minutes ish.
Okay.
Ish. Right.
Everything ends with an ish on camp time, Monty.
I got you. Well, today is Thursday, July 25th, the 207th day of the year. 159 days are left. On this date in 1860, we had our first U.S. intercollegiate billiard match between Harvard and Yale. I remember that one, right?
Who won?
Harvard made more 8 balls. Speaking of Dave.
Is there a billiards natty?
Of course.
Probably not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of natties floating around.
There are.
Yeah. I'll school you bros if you want on lobsters and pool.
Of course.
In 1965, Bob Dylan booed by sections of the crowd at the Newport Folk Festival for performing with an electric guitar.
Apparently
What
that
is
is
this?
the end of the new Timothy Chalamet Dylan movie.
Oh, is that where he hooks up with a peach?
Can't go electric, man. Not every movie that Chalamet is in, he has sex with a peach.
I thought that was like his little...
Like
that was in
signature.
Dune too.
At the end of Dune. All right, here's your peach.
When he did it in
God.
Willy Wonka, that was really wild.
Yeah, with the kids in there.
The gobstopper.
Stop your gob.
It was the knob stopper.
So Nebraska has 4 national titles in the last 15 years in women's bowling.
Well, me.
Did you know this?
No.
Did you know the Cornhuskers were cleaning up?
No, but it doesn't surprise me. They don't have much else to do.
It's Nebraska.
You gonna order that calendar?
Why did you look up the bowling championships?
How do you know I looked it up?
Yeah, he's on it.
You are sports stern. That's true.
Sports.
My apologies.
So we're looking up women's billiards or just billiards? Can women play billiards?
There's no way they let women play billiards in 1860. They would have burned them. In 1972, the notorious Tuskegee syphilis experiment came to light as the AP reported that for the previous 4 decades, the U.S. Public Health Service, in conjunction with the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, have been allowing poor rural black male patients with syphilis to go without treatment. One of the worst crimes against humanity you could ever imagine.
Goodness.
In 1978, Louise Joy Brown, the first test tube baby, was born in Oldham, England. She had been conceived through the technique of in vitro fertilization.
And didn't she die like 2 minutes later? That's my joke.
Man, you are over the top.
Gary, that's disgusting.
Why is that? In 1980, Back in Black, the 7th studio album by AC/DC, their first featuring lead singer Brian Johnson was released.
Really? Why is that?
In 1983, Metallica's debut album Kill 'Em All was released.
Killed them all.
Heck yeah, Lando.
Seek and Destroy. Great freaking song.
Yeah. My favorite albums.
Corey Taylor.
Have you ranked the Metallica albums, Lando?
I certainly can make a segment out of it.
I would love that.
Let's go.
10:50.
No, you're not going to do it on Sunday. We're trying to farm content from other people. In 1985, the spokeswoman for Rock Hudson confirmed
Uh-oh.
he's got AIDS.
Very AIDSy.
Luckily, they had a way to combat it, fighting it with more AIDS.
He looks just like Corby.
Rock Hudson.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's what
he
we've
does.
heard.
He does.
Not the
my
only
guy.
similarity.
It's my guy.
In 1990,
you know all the AIDS.
This is the second time we brought this up in the last couple of weeks. Roseanne Barr sung the national anthem at the Cincinnati Reds San Diego Padres MLB game.
She grabbed her crotch and spat.
Ugh.
In the words of a great man, who wanted that?
The crotch part or the whole thing?
Her singing a national anthem. Like, the second that's booked, you have to be thinking, okay, she's not here to do a great rendition.
She's here to do a bit, yeah.
She's signing up to do a bit. So either we're a party to that, or we're bad at being a detective of bits.
Do you think John Goodman had a hard time keeping his hands off her on set?
Oh, man.
Like, was Tom
baby.
Arnold real mad at
You're so hot.
John Goodman?
It was like the first time in TV history where some dolt couldn't get a hot TV wife.
Yeah. Because that was back around the time that Raymond was getting smoking hot. Kevin James was getting hot.
Kevin James, how did...
Yeah.
Seriously. He, like, is the gold standard for that, right?
Yeah, she outkicked her coverage.
Who?
Carrie Heffernan.
Oh, yeah.
She found the funniest man in Queens. True royalty, one might argue.
Yes, he was the king of Queens.
In 1997, Howard Stern fired from Dallas radio.
From Dallas radio? They kicked him out of Dallas?
Mm-hmm.
What'd he do?
Don't you ever come back.
Said some things you're not supposed to say.
Stuff.
Driving.
Yeah, he found out his neighbor had a car.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle it. And in 2021...
I've got a dude who lives in my neighborhood who has a car. Yes.
That's good, Sean.
Sean, it's not
Simple
really
Sean.
that special.
Wow.
Like 155, I got this today.
You want some pudding now?
I got this.
Yeah, I'll open your pudding for you, buddy.
Everybody stand back.
Butterscotch?
I've got a segment.
And in 2021, the U.S. men's basketball team saw their 25-game Olympic winning streak end by losing to France.
Whether you're in
France?
They're ready.
Well, Donovan was happy.
Can you watch your favorite teams on a sweater?
All right, birthdays today. Torrey Lavello is 59.
D-backs.
Of the Diamondbacks. Billy Wagner, 53.
Wagner.
I'm sorry.
Hall of Famer.
Mo and Franz's dad. Finn Balor, the wrestler, 43.
Legend.
Also 43 today, Kevin Kuzmanoff.
Oh.
K-State great.
What's his nickname? Dave? I guess Dave isn't here.
Yeah.
Yeah, dang.
The Drippin' Kuz. Andre Vasilevsky, 30.
Andre the Giant.
Also,
Such a good goalie.
hockey, and 30, Matt Dumba.
Hockey?
That's a Dallas
Dallas Star.
You gotta tell me, bro. Turning 29 today, Alvin Kamara.
Great. What?
Bryce Young is 23.
Or Bryce.
And washed.
Friend of the
Failed.
show. Friend of the show. We're not giving up on Bryce Young yet.
Or
Way too
poor
early for that.
Bryce.
Just wait till Dave Canales gets a hold of him, Corby.
Yeah,
You saw what he did for Baker.
that's right. Forgot about that. Resurrected Baker's career.
And turning 22 today, Alperen Sengun.
I thought you said it didn't need resurrecting. He was doing well.
Well, he typically resurrects other people as football Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is his name.
Like that guy in What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Matt LeBlanc is 57.
Outlive Matthew Perry.
Star of Ed.
Yep.
Oldest Matt on Friends. Stop it.
That's right.
He was funny.
Ed.
Also, 51 today. You may know him as Roy from The Office or the deaf tight end from The Replacements, David Denman.
Roy from The Office.
I loved his role in The Replacements because he would have been a first-round tight end if he just
Speaking of-
wasn't deaf.
But he was
Dolt.
deaf.
He was
plays
deaf.
a dolt.
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 Dalton.
Dolt. Schultz.
Milk.
Dolt. pork.
I can't do it.
Go on a
It's awful.
cruise.
Stop it, Han.
Stop chewing on your tongue.
It's horrible. Go get a nerd. Born in the State Now Dead.
You need some milk.
Rosalind Franklin, who helped discover DNA.
And some belts.
You.
Can I get you a belt?
Pull off the towel.
Oh, love to make love.
There's DNA there.
I can get you a quart of milk and a belt.
Well,
Look in the back of the
pour my
postcard.
milk on you and then put my belt around your neck and then have
God.
That seems like a lot.
Use
Do
this
you
belt
like
to go
milk?
get some milk.
I want to make love to you. You want to make love to me?
Gavrilo Princip, the assassin of Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Bro,
No, 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 no,
awesome
no, no.
band, right? Like without World War I, is it worth it having Franz Ferdinand as a band, knowing that World War I?
Are you saying they only got big because they were named Franz Ferdinand? They probably
Yeah.
could've went by another name.
They had so many hits, you know?
No, they had a band before World War I
Yeah.
named Franz Ferdinand, and just imagine the odds.
Was there
Couldn't
one
on.
hit worth the carnage of World War I? Is what I'm asking.
Yes.
Some say yes. That song
Save
was
that kind of
good.
stuff for Tyler Smith, bro.
True.
Born in the State Now Dead, we have Estelle Getty from the Golden Girls.
She was the youngest
Legend.
of them. I believe whenever they signed up, she was 37.
Yeah, but still drier than the Sahara.
Who did we have yesterday as the fourth Golden Girl?
Oh, it was
EA?
no. Somebody hot that just turned 55.
Selma Hayek?
Yeah.
No,
somebody-
J-Lo. It's J-Lo.
Oh yeah, J-Lo.
Oh, yeah.
J-Lo was older than the Golden Girls when they started.
She's beefing with Blanche.
Roast beefing.
Man,
Nate
what
Thurman, Born on the State Now Dead. Also, Walter Payton.
Could we do like a Hispanic Golden Girl?
Born on the State Now Dead, Emmett Till.
With Selma Hayek and J-Lo.
Yeah. What's the other one?
Sophia Vergara?
Oh, yeah.
Sophia. God. Do you think that would have trended better than the original Golden Girls?
I feel like
They're always at the pool.
it could be a ratings winner right now.
Yeah.
Down the Stay Still Dead. Harry Warner of the Bros.
And who's Tony Parker's girl?
Evan Longoria.
Yeah.
Also,
Did
Dead
they-
on the
who's the
Stay
one in
Still
Blow?
Dead.
Ray's third baseman?
No.
Who's the
Idiot.
one in Blow? The skinnier one?
That's not Selma Hayek?
No.
Penelope Cruz.
Penelope
Oh,
Cruz.
yeah.
God, let's do this.
O'Neill's mom.
As we rank
Down
the
the Stay
Latina
Still
hots.
Dead.
So,
I
girls,
hope Corby's sitting down.
girls, we have an idea.
I'm sitting.
3,
Ben Hogan.
2,
Ben Hogan.
and you're done.
Shut it down! You know where the secret is, Monty?
I've got a dude who lives in my neighborhood.
Bye, Justin.
Broadcasting
Bye, Lando.
live from the TXU
Bye,
Energy
Bye, Four.
Mothership at
Here's Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Thank you. I am here. I have made it in time to bring you E-News from the tennis courts.
Good.
And we begin with Disney having a day. Because, firstly, Inside Out 2 has surpassed Frozen 2 to become the highest grossing animated film in history.
Isn't it weird? Like, I have zero concept of this movie. I'm familiar with every single giant kids movie out there. I don't even know what this is about, and it's the highest grossing animated film ever.
You don't know Olaf?
No, I don't.
He's talking about Inside Out, not Frozen.
That's all I know. I figured there was an
Yeah,
Olaf.
there's no Olaf crossover.
Dang it.
No, Inside Out 2 is it's the emotions personified in your head. So you have like anger and envy and happiness.
Gluttony.
Are you describing Seven?
Yeah.
Yes.
His head in a box?
Uh-huh.
Die.
What's in the box?
Hey, Dill.
Boy,
Yeah,
what
you
a
just spoiled it for everyone.
What a choice for Inside Out 2.
Right.
Yeah, so Inside Out 2, it's the same. It's the girl in the first Inside Out. She is now like a teenager, and so there are more emotions that are popping up in her brain as she's growing into a teen.
Hot.
It's an animated movie. So,
Cartoon, Corby.
Yeah.
Do they
it's
find
cartoon
her
hot? I
face
guess.
down in spaghetti?
Yeah.
Cartoon underage hot, Corby.
Is she dabbling in like fentanyl?
No, I don't think that there is an after-school special fentanyl aspect to Inside Out 2.
Bro, I feel so alive.
I think I could fly.
Yeah.
So it's done 601 million domestic, 861 internationally, so global tally of 1.46 billion. So that means it also has overtaken Barbie. Barbie did 1.446. So Inside Out 2 is now the 13th biggest movie of all time.
You guys have to see this movie. It's
called
so
Barbie.
Good.
All right, and
you still
also,
never saw it, did you?
No, because you asked too much. Guys, this is such an important
You're
film.
like my wife refusing to watch Breaking Bad.
Well, now
Just
it's
too
on.
many people
now
talk
it's
about
on Max. You can just throw it on
Yeah.
any time.
Well, nobody would care anymore.
We would.
Yes, you need to see it. It's funny.
Guys, I just saw Barbie.
Take down the patriarchy with me, guys.
It's amazing.
And also, Disney has a big day today because they have a new bundle that has launched today. Once again, as soon as you think you have streaming figured out, then they kind of reconnoiter all the bundles and make you wonder whether you're getting ripped off. But this is the Hulu, Disney Plus, and Max bundled together.
Wow.
So there are two tiers you can get.
They're cutting out ESPN?
I don't know.
No, you know what, Bob? It's part of another bundle.
Well, I'm just saying,
I
the old
think-
bundle was Hulu, ESPN, and Disney.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about ESPN in here, but I thought ESPN was part of the Hulu bundle.
Is this on ESPN
But
or
I don't know.
ATV? What was this?
Maybe, well, this is geared towards families, so maybe they think families don't care about second-tier sports.
Yeah.
But there's two tiers. The ad-supported tier is $16.99 per month, and then the ad-free version, $29.99. And so
That sounds like a good deal.
It works out to, at least on the ad-free, it's about $7 savings versus getting them a la carte, which I guess over the course of a year adds up.
$7 a month?
Yeah, $7 a month. You're talking about
But then you got to make the phone call.
$29.99 versus $37.
So I would have to call each one of those services to tell them that I don't want them anymore, but I would like to then
No,
bundle
you just need
them.
to go through the app and cancel, and then sign up for the bundle.
Okay.
It's a lot of work.
Sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot of work.
I'd rather just sleep.
And speaking of Max and Warner Brothers Discovery, they are pushing back against the NBA, as we've surmised that they would, because they got left out of the NBA rights deal. So this is the quote from the statement from Warner Brothers Discovery. We have matched the Amazon offer, as we have a contractual right to do, and do not believe the NBA can reject it. In doing so, they are rejecting the many fans who continue to show their unwavering support for our best-in-class coverage. We think they have grossly misinterpreted our contractual rights with respect to the 25-26 season and beyond, and we will take appropriate action. That said, we look forward to another great season of the NBA on TNT and Max, including our iconic Inside the NBA, because it's weird that they do have this lame duck season, as we know about lame duck seasons around here. But they are going to fight.
Great sports tie-in.
They are going to fight to try and maintain some presence with the NBA, and they are thinking that perhaps if they put enough pressure on the NBA, that they'll carve out a fourth piece of the pie, and that they'll get some of the inventory that was going to go to ESPN, Amazon, and NBC. Like they'll just throw them a bone, just
like a game a month,
just to go away.
I'm definitely not a lawyer. I kind of think TNT has a great case, though, because in a right-to-match world, it does generally seem to come back to the cash, and I'm almost positive they came up with the cash. And it feels like the NBA found a carve-out that, well, unless you can stream on 4 different streams and do this and throw in some prime dog food, Well, that you can't match that, and I really don't think that's the spirit of it, because in a right-to-match contract, you can't throw one little detail that has nothing to do with the material that is being matched, which is money.
Yeah, it's about dollars, not eyeballs.
Well, I think in the end they're going to find, Time Warner will find that whatever they try to match, the loophole probably is that the NBA, yes, typically in a vacuum you would say yes to the amount of money, but this is not just about money, it's about other aspects of the competitor that TNT doesn't have, and so I think...
But when you write the contract,
but we don't know what it says. Well, I don't know if it just says if you match okay, the NBA still has the right to turn down the match.
No, and I get that, but I just think when the contract was signed, let's say 10 years ago, so in 2014, then in 2024, new things are invented and conceived,
Right.
and that's the loophole. I just don't think that stands up in court.
Probably doesn't, but it probably will.
I mean, the Second Amendment is the Second Amendment.
That's right. Who are you?
Oh, I know who he is.
Wow. It's all happening very quickly.
I love him. But not in that way.
I know.
No. Also in streaming news, Major League Baseball. So they are inching towards taking control of their own streaming destiny. MLB has announced that they are going to make the MLB Network direct to consumer. So you can stream it without cable, satellite, or internet TV. You can just buy it by itself for $5.99 a month. And if you want MLB Network and the At Bat app, you can pay $6.99 a month. Now,
all the Sierra Santos you can handle.
I need to write this down. So, also, I need an email to the company if I can ask if I can pause Sierra Santos when she's wearing cool clothes.
Right, and if you can bid on her used panties.
Dave, too far.
He brings up a good point.
Getting the standalone stream is different than undergarments and the purchase thereof.
Yeah, can you pause and zoom in on the stream?
Right. So my TV is just one big, tight boob.
But
for baseball.
Yeah,
Honey, what
for
are you
baseball.
watching? What do you mean?
MLB Network, come on.
Yeah, sports. It's my job.
By the way,
got to stop the MLB
By the way,
Network. We know what you're doing, MLB Network,
Yeah.
and you're not getting away with it.
Local blackout rules will still apply. So this is not a workaround for Bally's. So it's not like you can get this and anytime they have a Ranger game on MLB Network, you can watch it. No, it'll be blacked out.
Do you think Bally's
because they know
on
where you live?
Dave's bingo card.
Oh my God. That's the hottest zip ever for Dave's bingo card. Well, hang on. How do I download that? Dave? Oh, wait. Okay, I don't think I want to. $6.99 a month?
Yeah.
I'm out.
Oh, $5.99 and $6.99 if you want the At Bat app. If you want to be able to track everyone's at bats. Ask Sean about.
Why are you laughing, Bob? Why are you thinking that's something I don't want?
I want to know the last time you've tracked an at bat. What a funny concept.
From like a Pittsburgh Pirate.
Right?
Oh, man.
He's got a hole in his swing right here.
Yeah.
Well, Neil Cruz is up again. Okay, hold on, guys. Can you pull over?
Hey, kids, can you just wait a second? I'll finish this conversation about your mortality in a minute. I'm going to watch O'Neal Cruz bat.
On my app.
On my app.
My app.
Is there a pitching change? There hasn't been a pitch in like 5 minutes.
What's going on? Clicking on it.
Yeah. There is controversy with YouTube's most followed creator. No, not Dude Perfect.
God, I'm going to know this guy's name. Is Mr. Beast number one? It is?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, still Mr. Beast. So Mr. Beast...
Mr. Beef?
has had to respond to allegations that one of his co-hosts has been involved in some nefarious behavior. So Mr. Beast released a statement saying, over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and I am disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable acts.
What'd she do?
I have been focused on hiring an independent third party to conduct a thorough investigation to ensure I have all the facts That said, I've seen enough online and taken immediate action to remove Ava from the company, my channel, and any association with Mr. Beast.
Jeez.
What's her name?
Ava Tyson.
Yeah, Ava Chris Tyson.
So Tyson on Tuesday went on X saying that she was permanently stepping away from Mr. Beast projects because of the allegations. I don't want these accusations to impact the hundreds of people who work at Mr. Beast. So what is she accused of? Well, Ava Tyson is transgender.
Mm-hmm.
Just for context.
I'm a girl. I'm a guy.
And
jeez, Bob.
And Tyson has been the target of criticism for reportedly developing a relationship with a minor online, a.k.a. grooming.
Okay, this is what I don't understand. So
this
you can't fall in love with a guy that goes into a cave every day and comes home and just makes his $200 a day doing that?
Yeah, the headlight.
Yeah, lamp.
Not a minor that is looking for essential metals in the earth. No, this is someone who is underage. Tyson, at the beginning of this relationship,
my bad,
in air quotes, was 20, and the minor, not minor, minor 13.
Every time I laugh.
So Mr. Beast distancing and trying to get to the bottom of it.
Wow, I wonder if he can be like. They can't take him away though. He's too big.
No,
Mr. Beast is too powerful.
No, Mr. Beast cannot be canceled. Uncancelable.
So, like, if every kid, like right now, if I ask my kids, "Hey, are you guys familiar with Ava from Mr. Beast?" Would they all say yes?
Probably.
Like, is she part of? Like, what does she do?
I mean, hosts the YouTube channel.
Vague.
I don't know.
Vague.
He does the dumb challenges where people win money.
He's very philanthropic, right?
Yeah.
Very magnanimous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, a couple of showbiz quick hits for you to end our first Enews from the tennis courts. This is a bizarre pairing. So, you remember John Schneider.
Dukes of Hazzard.
From Dukes of Hazzard.
Bo Duke.
And so he is 64, and he lost his third wife.
Oh.
His third wife.
Jeez.
Dave. Praise up to John.
Mm-hmm.
But Alicia Elaine Schneider died in February of 2023 at the age of 53 after a battle of breast cancer.
Oh, man.
So it's been a little over a year. Well, he has announced that he got married in Las Vegas.
Okay, good for him.
So he's linked up with wife number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who is wife number 4? Dee Sorvino, the widow of Paul Sorvino.
Oh, that from
Paul
of Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, yeah, he's the main boss in Goodfellas.
Yeah, so he died at 83 after some health issues. He and Dee Sorvino were married in 2014, so she is 57. So he was 83, and he died, I guess, in 2022.
Yeah. All right.
So there was a big gap there. So she's closed the gap. She's 57, and Bo Duke is 64.
I want Bo to be happy, Bob. I need him to be happy.
He still looks great.
Yeah, he does. I hope he is.
He could do better.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, he could.
And lastly, happy birthday to J-Lo. Her 55th birthday was yesterday. And how did she celebrate? She had a huge blowout bash in the Hamptons that was a Bridgerton-themed costume party.
See, I wouldn't have gone.
And so they
you don't invite me to your little costume party, I ain't coming.
So they had
Don't
dinner.
you call it a little
they had
costume
dinner and dancing and music, and everyone was dressed in elegant gowns that looked like they were from 19th century England.
Yeah.
And you know who wasn't there?
Her husband,
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, of course. They haven't seen each other in like a year now.
No.
And he's just trying to figure out how to get out of this
without losing half of his money.
Yeah. Okay, Dave. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here is Dave.
Thank you. And if you were wondering what happened to the rant today, well, Gordon, he is having some technical difficulties that he's working on.
At this station?
But he will be out here next week, and we will have a full-on in-person rant next Thursday.
That's right.
But he did want to let all of his fans know that he will be twitching tonight at 7:30, twitch.tv/actualgordonkeith. And he will have a special guest, Monty, on the eve of his butt surgery.
Okay, the doctor did not call it that. Therefore, you shouldn't either.
So,
best wishes.
Just thought I would throw that out there if you want to support our teammates, Gordon and Monty.
Call it his rectum butt stuff procedure.
Rectum butt stuff procedure. Yes. All right, I mentioned a major change to a Dallas institution. As today, Southwest Airlines announced they are ending open seating.
Dude.
What do we think about this?
So I heard the Musers talking about this, and they seemed to be on the happier side. I kind of like what Southwest does.
Well, they have the research to prove it. So they've been doing open seating for 50 years, and they did some research.
Did a little research.
And they also did, they say, 8 million simulation-based boarding trials. So I don't know if they just had a bunch of sims, like Sim City.
Yeah.
They lined them up and did fake boarding scenarios. But they say that it's clear the open seating model that served us well for so many years is no longer optimal for today's customer. That they found in their research that 80% of Southwest customers and 86% of potential customers prefer having an assigned seat.
90% of my flights are with Southwest, and I feel that I'm so used to the Southwest model that I'm going to not maybe miss calling the day before or checking in on, not calling, but checking in online the day before, 24 hours exactly to the second.
To try and get the best possible position.
To try to not be in C group is what your goal is, because A and B, you can pretty much sit wherever you want.
But you always forget, so you're C67.
I've forgotten plenty of times, yes.
So Southwest...
But they do have the option to purchase your way up a little bit.
Have you ever done that?
What do you think?
Not only would I like to purchase A group, I would also like to purchase all these people off the plane. So I don't know, what do I need to pay to do that?
Thank you.
Well, they do say that assigned seating is a revenue generator, that they can charge for early check-in, they can charge for exit rows, they can charge for
anal
more
nitrate,
more leg room. Yes. So they have 800 aircraft roughly, and they're going to, over the next 6 to 12 months, they're going to update them all. They're going to have new seat designs, new cabin interior, and they will also add premium extended legroom. So 1/3 of the seats will offer extended legroom.
So I wonder, when you have these meetings, because Southwest has always had this differentiating characteristic.
As a discount carrier, that was kind of their calling card.
Yeah, so now what makes us different?
I mean, I guess the routes that they run.
Yeah. I'm sure they put a lot of thought into it. But they always had that place where you're like, oh, well, this is a Southwest. This is a job for Southwest. And I wonder if they become a normie.
Well, Southwest is weird because they've always been impervious to the other airlines' shortcomings that they have financially, it seems like. Southwest has been able to ride this wave of being the kitschy, smaller airline into wild-ass success. And they've never had the pitfalls that I remember, at least, that American faced, Delta's faced, all of them. Southwest has just kind of been on that wave for a long time.
Well, they say they did not make this decision lightly, and I guess it'll be rolled out 6 months from now at some point.
Yeah.
So,
do companies ever say we made this decision lightly?
Yes, we hastily made this decision with no research and no backing.
We were in a big hurry.
We just had a hunch.
Yeah.
We just don't know if this is going to make any sense, but we're going for it.
Back in Dallas, you guys, you P1s need to be careful because we have our first 2 official cases of West Nile virus in a human person in Dallas.
I thought you were going to say listeria, which has kind of been breaking out around the United States. But West Nile?
What is listeria?
It's the ice cream thing.
That's a Def Leppard album.
That's hysteria, and they have nothing in common. Yeah, you eat bad.
Pour some Lysol on me.
Eating the wrong song again. You eat bad like me or ice cream, milk.
Listeria.
Yeah. Yes.
What? I'm not. Only you knew more words.
Yeah,
You're singing it like EA.
As I knock on this wood table, not really afraid of West Nile. There, I said it.
Wow. Whoa. Well, you are in California for the next week plus.
I know. I'm also, and I'm going to say this too.
Oh.
I don't really get bit by mosquitoes.
It is like a
Can
body
I just say
chemistry
this?
thing.
Yeah.
My wife gets bit way more than I do. And she was afraid that our little bebe would take after her, but he evidently is not.
As you guys just leave him sitting on the lawn for hours at a time? How do you know?
We just cover his arms with blood and put him on the back porch. This is an experiment.
Oh, he seemed to take after Dad.
Everything's fine.
Bring him back in.
But so both cases were in a North Dallas zip code.
Oh, here we go. That's me.
And so the county is spraying for mosquitoes in the affected zip codes.
They better.
And
they better
they
be
also
getting my
said,
neighborhood.
in addition to those cases, that mosquitoes have tested positive for West Nile.
Mm-hmm. Like they have to,
like they
go to the doctor and they're like, God, I've been feeling cruddy.
Yeah, they have to do.
Do they have an at-home test?
They do West Nile prep now,
right?
But Balch Springs, Balch Springs, DeSoto, Glen Heights, and Lancaster. They have all seen positive mosquitoes.
Do you think there's going to be a time in recorded history where you can put a dome, an AC dome, over a neighborhood? Like if Highland Park's like, you know what? I don't want West Nile. So let's bring the dome up.
Let's vacuum seal.
Yes.
That's like a Simpsons movie episode.
It is,
thing.
yeah.
Has he been on at 840 yet?
Who?
West Nile.
You know what? We're not going to your dumb Italian food restaurant now.
Yeah.
What, are you going to punish me by not going to the restaurant I want to go to?
You can't go to it
because I just gave you a good bit.
And I have good news, Corby.
Okay.
As I hear that marijuana is legal out here in California.
Yeah. Killer and I went in there. We went around town yelling, "Where is marijuana?" And we found it.
Yeah, I guess as a development between last camp and this camp, Ventura proper has dispensaries now.
Yeah.
You used to have to go into Oxnard to get weed.
Who wants to do that?
You hear, right?
I heard.
Yeah.
From a bunch of homeless.
Bunch of dopers.
Druggies.
Yeah. You went down to Skid Row to figure out where to get your weed.
Yeah. But in Texas, where we are broadcasting, this is going to be, in all likelihood, like it's 99% sure, it's going to be on the ballot in the fall, in November, in Dallas, that Dallas could become the largest city in the state of Texas to decriminalize marijuana.
See, okay, what does that mean, though?
Okay, so there is an activist group, Ground Game Texas, that they got 20,000 signatures from registered Dallas voters to get what they call the Dallas Freedom Act on the November ballot. And so the city of Dallas has confirmed that all of these signatures are legitimate, and they did get enough. So as a formality, Dallas City Council, when they return to session later in August, they will have to approve it to put it on the ballot, but that is considered a formality. And then Dallas County voters will have the opportunity to vote on the measure in November. And so what this means is that, so right now, Dallas police, instead of arresting people with less than 2 ounces of marijuana, they just write them a ticket. Now that would increase the amount to 4 ounces. So 4 ounces or below would be
4 ounces
would be decriminalized.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So that's 12, in old school terms, 12 bags of weed?
Yeah, 12 quarter bags.
And that's decriminalized.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you remember,
that's awesome.
Attorney General Ken Paxton sued 5 cities in Texas, including Denton, for passing similar laws.
God.
Because it's still illegal in the state.
Yeah, it is, Ken. It sure is, Ken.
Careful what you mule back, Corby.
This upsets me because Bob someday is going to get pulled over and have like 3.99 ounces of weed, and they're just going to write him a $5 ticket, where we have been all hiding it for 50 years.
Right.
But he's now, Nate Newton, who's out here.
We've been on the run from the law for 30 years.
Yeah, and Bob's going to get away with this again.
Yeah, you guys want to talk strategy with Nate?
Yeah. Well, there's no strategy anymore. You're fine.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, that's good. That's hot community quick hits right there. And then we will do it again tomorrow. Y'all have the see. Bye.